cheers to season 3.
And we're also cheersing to our camera. Hi, YouTube.
Hi, camera.
Hi.
I really feel like you're our third now.
Yeah.
Like you're
the camera is our third.
pretty much. Like
yeah.
pretty exciting. We really did have quite a few people be like, "Can we watch it?" And
We
it was
did.
hard to explain that like yes, we have clips, but no, you can't watch it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because it just didn't.
It just, yeah. It would
wasn't-
have been difficult. It would have been an odd thing to cut back and forth. Anyway.
It wasn't up to par, but now it's up to par.
It's
now
up
we
to
have
par.
a third.
You could be watching this right now on YouTube. You probably are. For the YouTube people. Hi, welcome to Script Daddy.
Welcome to Script Daddy.
I'm-
I'm Colin.
And I'm Carly.
No, I'm Carly.
And I'm Colin. And here at Script Daddy, we read scripts, watch the movies, and discuss the differences between script and screen.
Never gets old.
No. it
But
doesn't.
also a gun to my head if someone said, "What's the tagline?" I'd go, "I don't know."
For a second, I was going to be, what do we do? I was going to say, what do
No,
we do at Script Daddy? And I was like, no, I'm not going to.
Don't do that to
I'm not
Carly.
going to do that to her.
Don't do that to Carly.
I won't do that to her.
She'll vomit on camera, and no one deserves that.
Truly.
We are in season 3.
Through season 3, baby.
I gotta stop screaming to the mic. That's
season
heinous.
3.
Season 3. It
Script
feels
babies. We
so
have
good.
over 1,000 followers. We're like over 2,000 followers across platforms. People are, loving it. We're getting feedback. It's going well. It's so fun.
And Colin and I literally geek out via text maybe
do.
every other day.
We do geek out.
We geek out because like we can't.
We see your comments. We see your feedback.
We see it all.
We listen. We put it on YouTube.
We put it. Yeah. If not for sweet harassment, we might not have gotten the camera.
Truly. For season 3, Script Babies, we are going a bit spooky here for the first half
little
of it.
themey.
A little theme. It's
Theme-ish.
Theme-ish.
Yes.
Since this is going to be going, throughout October and November, we're going to start with some spooky movies.
Little creepy crew.
I have a question for you to piggyback off that.
Okay.
I know the answer to this, but the Script Babies don't.
Okay.
What is a spookalicious paranormal experience you've had?
Well, Mike,
I think I know the one
I
that
think
you're going to
the
say.
cool one that's like so cool. The light one. Or which one do you think?
Oh, I was thinking of the Ouija board one.
Well,
Because that's
yeah.
spookalicious. Wait, which one was the light one?
I've had many a cool experience with Ouija boards. I've also had some not great experiences with Ouija
the
boards, which
spooky
is
one
why
was
I
thinking of.
stopped. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I had some really cool experiences, like stuff where it was like, and again, I know people, Lord, have I seen the internet interpret these things in every single way. But there was a period of time where we were using a Ouija and like communicating with what I feel in my body was my grandparents. And they were answering things that I didn't know the answer to, but like my parents were in the room and they knew the answer to the stuff. And my mom was like shook. Like it was nuts.
That's wild.
But then it was one of those things where like I knew nothing about like protecting yourself beforehand. This was so long ago.
Yeah.
And me and my friend kind of got addicted to it, if I'm being completely honest. Like we did kind of get addicted. And which then the energy started to shift a little bit. We started getting weirder. Yes. We started getting weirder responses, and it did not start that way at all. It was it was kind of mind-blowing at first, but then I will admit it got odd. And then I just remember like me and my friend, like we started having something that just like the answers were like disheartening and kind of creepy. And that's when we were like, oh, we're done.
Is there an
here.
example of like a creepy answer that you remember?
Honestly, I might have like blacked it out. It was nothing like too crazy, but it was just stuff where it would be like, it would go like, it would start getting really fast and going to a lot of like, no, it would start getting more aggressive.
Yeah.
It started like her and I were both on the same show at one point, and we were both on Ned's Declassified, and it like gave like a weird, I think we thought we were speaking with like a young person who had passed, and then it like got weird though, because they like referenced something around it that was like weird, and it was moving so fast that it was actually like, we were looking at each other like, you're not like, we trusted each other fully that neither of us were like pushing it, but then it got to a point where we were like, couldn't keep up with how fast it was going.
No.
And we both kind of like made the mutual decision, this is going to have to end here.
Mm-hmm.
But my genuinely cool, like so crazy, I still don't totally have an explanation for it, but it was so cool, was when Scott and I were like somewhat newish dating. I was still living at home and I fell asleep, I think on the phone with him, or I like was like, okay, good night, and like passed out immediately. And I woke up to 2 flashes of light that were so bright. It was as if you were doing a photo shoot and a flash went off because it woke me.
Whoa.
So all of a sudden I was like, it was so bright that I went and looked out the window because I was like, not that there's ever been lightning in California that like wakes you from slumber.
Yeah.
But I went and looked out the window, nothing. And then 2 blue lights were like when I looked to my left, which is where my door was towards the hallway and in the bathroom, there were 2 blue lights.
Like orbs?
Yeah. And they
just
were
like
quick.
Floating midair?
But quick. But just enough that I was like, oh, I should follow it. And what was weird was I wasn't freaked out. And you know me, I am so easily freaked out. Yeah. I am so easily freaked out that I remember having the thought, I'm awake, this is happening, and I'm not freaked out. So then I followed it, and then I believe I saw another blue light into the bathroom. And then I think there was one like brief little red one. But again, it wasn't scary. It was just like this little, and then that was it. It was done. And I remember I woke my sister up because I was like, I need someone to know that this happened so that I don't like tell myself tomorrow I made it up. So I like woke her ass up and was like, Sarah, I woke up to these lights, whatever. And that was it. And I remember like speaking to a psychic at the time, and she was like, yeah, like her interpretation was it was absolutely loved ones coming to visit, like especially with the colors, all that stuff. And it felt so peaceful and loving and normal. The why of it all and like the when of it all, it makes no sense, but it was one of by far the most like unexplainable thing. Because something about like the Ouija was wild, but like it was so intentional. We were doing it with intention. This was random and so cool, but also crazy. And it's funny now because like my mom is a psychic medium and has been for a very long time. But at the time, this was so long ago, and like she hadn't like fully, come into her gifts fully yet or whatever. So it was crazy. So that was mine.
I love that.
What about you?
Well,
you have so many.
Yeah,
you have a treasure trove.
I do have a treasure trove of paranormal experiences. Paranormal experiences, Script Babies tend to follow my family.
It's true.
We kind of bring them in. I'm not going to out them on our podcast, but one of my family members is also a psychic medium. And I think that kind of like thin veil thing runs in our family a little bit. I mean, you and I have crazy psychic light and full-on psychic experiences pretty regularly these days.
We're never not reading each other's minds.
Truly, though, we were literally just talking about it yesterday, Script Babies. Like, it's to the point where it's wild. I mean, it's been wild for a long time, but it's like undeniable now.
Yeah.
But I think the craziest, I've lived in a few different haunted houses, but the craziest one is definitely like the second place I ever lived in LA. It was up in the hills, and it was just tons of creepy things happened there. The most extreme was, so my mom loves to take baths. So do I. Love a good bath.
You are a bath boy.
I'm a bath boy.
Many a voice note has been exchanged while you're
Tub time.
Baking in the bath.
I do bake. Ooh, as hot as I can take that water. But so she had a bath that was, it had bay windows behind it. And the bay windows had that type of glass on it where it's texturized, and so you can't see through it. It's not like frosted. It has that like waviness on it,
this. Yeah.
And so if you like scratched it, you'd be able to hear like with your nails or whatever. Mm-hmm. So her room is where the most intense things happened. It was very spooky. You always kind of felt like you were being watched in that house. And nightly, my mom, we come to find out, would hear tapping and scratching on the window behind her while she was getting a bath. And she thought there was a lemon tree in the backyard, but the branches, it was like kind of a younger tree. The branches could not reach the window. Even if it was strong winds, it wouldn't reach the window to do that. Like something had to be doing that. And so then one night, so you had this like chandelier that was shaped like a like ship, like a boat above her bath. And one night, my mom, like we're all at home, and my mom is screaming bloody murder. And she's like, oh my God. And so we all run into her room, and she's like in the bath, like curled up with her knees to her chest, holding herself, looking up, screaming, and the chandelier above her bathtub is swinging violently back and forth. And we were like, oh my God, what happened? She was like, I was in the bath. I heard the scratching on the window. Then I heard this ding, and I look up, and it was swinging. The chandelier was swinging.
She heard a ding?
Ding! Yeah, and looked up, and it was swinging back and forth. And so that was crazy. And there was multiple nights my mom would get so freaked out. She would have all of us. We were all in high school at that point. So she would have all of us come sleep in her room. Like we'd make pallets on the floor. One of us would sleep on, because she had like a sofa in her room too. We'd sleep in there with her because she was so scared. And then she would proceed to mock the ghost while we're sitting there. And I'd be like, don't do that. Just stop.
No!
And everyone's like, ha ha, ghost, tee hee hee. I'm like, don't mock this. It's real. And I think it's just a way of coping with it.
100%. But still.
Yeah. One experience I had in that house was I was waiting for a food delivery one night. And I was home alone, and my spooky ass, even though I get scared pretty easily, but I am addicted to spooky things. I just love that side of life. And I was watching it was like a classic horror, like The Exorcist or something, like a horror movie. And there was these glass sliding doors in the living room, and I heard 3 taps on the door, on the window behind me. And I paused the movie, and I was like, oh, I remember in my mind thinking, I was like 16, 17. I was like, maybe the delivery person went around to the back, knowing fully well, no. And I've learned over the years, having had so many spooky experiences and hearing sounds and like houses and stuff like that I'm the person in a horror movie that goes to check. I got to know if I got to protect myself.
You die first.
So I looked out the window, nothing there, of course. Yeah, there was a bunch of spooky things. I used to hear what sounded like a metal ladder being put up on the side of the house outside of my bedroom and someone climbing up to the roof. Not every night, but frequently, at least weekly. And I would look out the window, still fully hear the sound of it, and nothing was out there. One time I even got my oldest brother had just moved to LA at that point, and he was staying in the guest room. And I got him one night, and I was like, Brandon, you have to come hear this. Like, am I crazy? And yeah, no, that house was crazy haunted. And then years later, my father was a surgeon, and he had a patient. This is like eight years later, so like a long time later. He had a patient that just through small talk, they found out that she lived in that house as well, either before or after us. And my dad was like, hold up, did you have experiences in that house? And she was like, oh yeah, dude. And we used to joke that it was like what Russian mob shit, like they would hide bodies there. That was our joke, like as a family when we were there, because like the owner was Russian, like, oh, tee Russian mob. And so then she also was like, yeah, the landlord was a bit weird. And she was like, they were going to like do something in their backyard, and they were digging up a hole in the backyard. And she said, no, they got a few feet down and they hit a big metal box. And with all the things that went on in the house and everything and the weird vibe that was going on there, they were like, we're not touching it. They filled up the hole, canceled the project, and just like, nope. Then they said they moved. They only stayed there about 8 months. We were only there for probably like 6, 8 months too. People like move out of that house really quickly. And whenever I drive past it, I'm like, oh, I know what's going on in there.
Yuck.
I really want to knock on the door and be like, what do you hear? What do you experience?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, does it matter at all over time?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think so. I think they're probably still there.
Yeah.
But that's just one amongst a slew of paranormal experiences I've had.
Truly, your whole fam has a slew.
Yeah. Lots of ghosts experiences and ghost stories, which
we did have. I don't think we should share, but you and I, because it's
the Adele.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can do it without saying the word? Well, yeah, we can't say.
We can spell it out.
Okay.
It's a word that rhymes with blunt.
We're not saying that word here, Script Babies.
It starts with the 3rd letter of the alphabet.
Yes, and it rhymes
ends
with
with
blunt.
unt.
And the reason this is relevant is because it was one of the weirdest things we've ever experienced. It was a lot of your family, me,
most of my siblings, you and your sister.
No, was Sierra there or was it Scott? Was it, or were they both there? I know Scott for sure was there. Sierra, no, I don't think so, because I think we described it. Yeah. So we were like all there. We were all in the kitchen, very communal. We're all chatting. We're all whatever.
Great time.
We start talking about Adele,
mm-hmm.
like the least controversial thing you could talk about. And I believe it was like Nick and I were just going like, we just like love Adele. And then all of a sudden we heard Colin say Adele's A rhymes with blunt, but it was said in like this deep register. And I remember thinking like that is not something Colin would say. Like it was so weird and serious and like out of left field, and everyone got quiet. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, oh, I wasn't the only one who heard it.
It did. It stopped. Everyone
we were all
stopped. Talking over each other.
And you were weirded out.
Well, yeah, because what I said was like, oh my God, Adele's amazing. I was like, Adele's amazing. And everyone stops. The room goes silent. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone's staring at me with like a kind of disturbed face on, like expression on their face. And I remember being like, what the hell's going on? Like, what's wrong? And you're like, I don't know, Colin, that's kind of aggressive or what it's, people are like, okay. And here's the thing about that word. I love that word. I use that word regularly. If I was going to call someone that word, I would have no problem saying it and I wouldn't be weirded out by saying it. But like, it's just the expression on everyone's face. Because you guys heard it come out like Adele's out. And,
but you're also not the type to use that. Like, I know what you're saying. You don't use it you use it in like you don't use it that way.
I also wouldn't say it in this like deep, like menacing register.
But, and I just like, I've known you so long and you would never say it with such seriousness and like venom. Like it's something you say more like in a playful way. Whereas this was like, kind of disturbing, and we all were weirded out. We all got quiet. You were defensive, rightfully so.
And y'all didn't believe me at first. You're like, Colin, you said that. And I was
because
like,
it was clear as day. And it was like this weird thing, and we all moved past it. But then I remember we were hearing weird sounds then upstairs, even though we were all downstairs.
There was like that dragging sound that we would hear upstairs.
It was truly one of the strangest.
It sounded, I forgot that house.
Yeah.
It would sound like a trunk was being pushed across
I remember
the
going
floor.
like, is there a slab of like the biggest rock you've ever found in your life upstairs being dragged? Because it was so intense.
God, I forgot that element of it. Yeah, that was weird.
And then the dogs kept barking at nothing too.
Right.
In like the corner. It was like a weird night. And again, I spent so many days and nights.
Shortly after that is when we found the haunted locket that my other sibling had.
Well, what's weird though is like I had spent quite a bit of time at that house and never ever experienced anything like that. And it was like something about that night was weird.
And it was a communal experience. Everyone except me heard it.
So weird.
All I heard was me saying Adele's amazing. You know?
So weird.
And then they finally believed me after I was like behemoth. I was like, you guys, if I was going to say that, I would say it.
100%.
And I wouldn't deny it. That's the thing.
Right.
But that's directly in line with the movie that we're doing today.
Yeah, I didn't think I would be this lit up about this film. I was excited when you said like, hey, should we do this? And then now I have to be honest, a little shook and shocked that I feel the way that I feel.
Shaken, shocked, shaketh. I don't know. I am, it was an incredible experience. Tell them what we're doing.
We are doing The Sixth Sense, baby.
The classic, the icon.
The absolute.
I always knew it was a good movie.
Same, but
I've only seen it maybe two. This might be my third or fourth time seeing it.
I think probably same.
But I haven't seen it since like my 20s. So it's been a while. And
I don't even know
what
if
a
I've
revolutionary experience it was to experience it as an adult and like to be able to see the different layers of the story.
And also like the whole thing, but like it aged gorgeously.
Girl, it's one of those movies that will always be good and always be poignant in a way.
Because one of the things about doing this podcast is realizing that like some movies or scripts are great, but they don't necessarily age phenomenal.
Yes.
This was one of those movies where you were like,
incredible.
It is actually literally timeless.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, let me tell you what. You did your big one with this.
This is
your magnum opus.
This is his magnum opus. I had the same thought. I was like, if he did nothing else, this would be the biggest feat possible.
Incredible.
1999. I was 9 when this came out.
10.
We
That's
were
so wild. I saw this when it came out too.
I think I did too.
And that movie freaked me out so bad.
But that's one of the things I'm excited to talk about is like the genre of it all. It lives in a very unique space.
Yes.
And I actually think that's why it did so well, partially.
I agree. Yeah.
Because I think it attracted people that normally would not go see a horror film. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a standard horror film.
Because it is branded, and when people think about it, they think of it as a horror film, which is quite interesting when you really examine the film.
When you think about how many scares there are in comparison to the rest of it, it's very small. Yeah. Maybe 10%, if that.
Yeah. No jump scares or anything too either.
Well, there's like kind of like the walking by
true. That's true. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, barely.
Give us some stats.
There's really fun trips.
I'm so excited.
It's been a minute since we've had like delicious trips.
Yum.
And the log line, everyone.
A gorgeous log line from I Am Deborah. That's what I call IMDb. I Am Deborah.
Obsessed. We might need to hire someone to actually. By hire someone, I just mean you'll do it because you're very good at log lines. The log line for The Sixth Sense on I Am Deborah IMDb is After being shot by a resentful former patient whom he failed to help, a Philadelphia child psychologist seeks redemption by treating a young boy with a disturbing secret.
Well, I mean,
It's not the worst.
that is the movie.
It's not the worst.
Has no flair, but okay.
I also think it's funny how M. Night Shyamalan. Why did
Shyamalan,
Shyamalan like come out weird?
Shyamalan.
He like rides so hard for Philadelphia, and my husband like loves that because he's a Pennsylvania boy. But it cracks me up that like, really, to be fair, like Malcolm's character being from Philadelphia really is kind of irrelevant for the most part in this. But I love that it made it into the limelight.
Oh yeah.
Like, why does it matter that a Philadelphia child
I have that
psychologist?
like location description of Philadelphia written down to gorgeous.
Well, and that's like a big thing. He shoots like as many things there as possible. Like that show.
I've never been to Philadelphia. I would like to go.
Philly's cool. Philly's cool. I'm not gonna say much more else. Like Scott will be like, because Philly's cool. I'm gonna say Philly's cool. Okay, I'm not a big city girl, but Philly's cool. And if you're a Philly person, you fucking love Philly. I will say
my
favorite thing about Philly people / Eagles fans is that no matter where you are, if and I've experienced this through Scott, and then I did it the other day for Scott because we were in the car and I was closest to the person walking by that was wearing like a bird's hat. Is like literally you could be anywhere, and if you go say like go birds, it's like both people like awaken and they're like go birds. Like it's like this instant like love, respect, and union happening that is so funny, and there's like, and also like big smiles, like genuine. Scott wore a Wawa shirt, which is like a very specific, to the area gas station, food place, whatever. He wore it to like a art festival the other day, and he got stopped by 2 Philly people.
Oh my God.
Who geeked out. They're like, wow. I mean, like Philly people they love Philly, and it's gorgeous.
My
and I
thing
love
about
that.
Philly is the Delco accent.
It's heaven on earth.
It's
heaven on earth.
The most interesting accent.
It is
in
the
America,
most interesting.
And I will die on that hill.
I agree. I can't get enough.
It is a wild accent.
I literally make Katie do it as often as
she
possible.
does it the best.
It's perfect. Okay. The director is M. Night Shyamalan. He was also the writer. Starring none other than Bruce Willis. Brucey.
My Brucey. I love Bruce Willis.
I've never been okay, so I have to say, I've always loved Bruce Willis, but it's been such a gorgeous gift to now, this is the second one we've done, and I'm certain we're going to do so many more of his.
Have to.
It feels so like bittersweet, but also beautiful to be able to like watch the projects that he was part of and get to like really zoom in on the true gift this man has and brought to cinema.
I feel like he's so underappreciated as an actor. He took some real swings in his career because like I was talking to Trevor about it the other day where Trevor was like, because I was saying like, God, Bruce Willis is he's just so, I've always loved him. He's such a great leading man and that he's a great actor too. And that gets overlooked. And Trevor was like, well, yeah, he's like proper like theater trained actor. And he, I guess, has said in interviews where he was like, the action hero thing was just kind of placed upon him, but that was never what he wanted. He wanted to be an actor. And when you see the choices he made, like, man's good.
He's so good.
Actually, man's great. Like,
he has something about him that is just operating on multiple levels. And it's so beautiful to witness. And it's like,
masculine but tender at the same time and funny. He can do it all.
He really,
God,
really
I love
can.
Bruce Willis.
We also have Haley Joel Osment serving up absolute child actor realness. He was so fantastic.
Like, probably the best child acting I may have ever seen.
I thought about it and I was like, wow, this whole movie only works if he was fantastic. Like, think about this movie if they picked an actor that was even kind of not as good. You
couldn't. You literally couldn't do it. It all hinges upon the Cole character.
Truly.
Because you have to feel for him and you have to feel that it's real for him. And oh my God, there's so many moments I want to reach through that screen and hug him and be like, I'm so sorry. Heartbreaking performance.
And then a moment of silence for Tony
motherfucking Collette.
Babe, she is another one. She is another one that she does not get enough flowers by the public.
Truly.
It's like, if you know, like if you're like one of those people where you're like, oh, okay, like I get it. She is a truly phenomenal actor. Like what she brought, the character on the page was fantastic.
Yes.
But oh my God, somehow what she brought to it, I was honestly like mouth agape. Like truly fantastic.
The scene where when he comes in and she's like trying to get the dog and he's like, if you're not very mad, can I sleep with you? And she's like, look at my face.
I love that was
mad?
a runner, by the way, that look at my face.
And then when she's home, she's like, why are you trembling? I'm like, oh.
We're going to get into that.
Yes, God.
We're going to get into that.
Toni Collette.
So those are our gorgeous leads. Olivia Williams plays the wife, Bruce Willis's wife. But the budget was $40 million. They had an additional $25 million for advertising, but like $40 million was for like
what
production.
Had M. Night done before that? Do you know?
I
was trying to figure it out.
Know.
I've never like researched it.
That's an interesting thought. The gross. Okay, so the budget was $40 million. The gross was $672.8 million worldwide. Now worldwide, but
geez,
hello.
Yes, I mean, I do remember it being such a huge movie.
Okay,
Huge
this trivia
impact.
is fun. I'm going to race through it.
Yes.
Toni Collette, who played Lynn, received a Best Supporting Actress nomination for her role, says she was so drawn in by the film's emotional authenticity that she didn't even realize it was a horror film until after the movie was released. Makes sense, though.
Damn.
Think about the script. It makes sense that she kind of didn't fully gather that it would be seen that way.
Yeah, I mean, I
mean, the script has obviously has its moments,
it's a
but
ghost story at its it's more than a ghost story at its core. It's just it's a character drama disguised as a ghost story.
Yeah,
but yeah, interesting.
But it also speaks to like the way that she played it. It was like so
honest.
That it wasn't played the way you would assume if you hear horror film.
Yeah,
I was like, that makes sense. Malcolm Crowe, Bruce Willis, wears the same set of clothes, although with very slight variations, just to give the sense that something is not quite right throughout the movie, as he wore on the day that he died. I didn't realize that. I mean, I realized that I remember thinking like, oh, he's wearing something similar, but like I didn't realize it was so specific. This is fun. Bruce Willis is a left-hander, but he had to learn to write with his right hand so that the viewers wouldn't notice that he wasn't wearing his wedding ring on his left hand anymore. How fun is that?
Genius.
Isn't that fun?
I love.
I was like very into that.
That's like movie magic shit.
I love
that.
A scene in which Cole, Haley Joel Osment, looks out of a window and sees a hospital wing filled with horribly disfigured and mutilated people was cut from the final edit, both in an attempt to rely more on the psychological tension rather than the gore and to protect a PG-13 rating for the film. I truly think that made a massive difference.
Yeah, because I actually wanted to discuss that in my notes because that scene on the page, you do pull back and you see all them in there after the iconic I see dead people line, and it would not have hit as hard. This movie is like chilling and haunting and like seeps into your core.
Yes.
Whereas if you had done that, it would have been a little bit more like traditional horror.
And I just don't think it would have accessed as many people.
Agreed.
And the heart would have had a harder time coming through.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it was the most gorgeous cocktail of like tender heart horror and like the strangest way.
Absolutely.
And grief, truly. I mean, what an exploration in grief.
Girl. Like other themes of like the importance of communication, like things everything's not as it seems, like also trusting children, there's so many things there. Things. Oh, it's so good.
To give the film's spirit spotters a common physical attribute, he gave both Vincent and Cole a small patch of white hair on the right side of their heads.
Okay, I noticed that.
I noticed it on Haley Joel, but I didn't notice on Vincent.
I didn't notice on Vincent.
You see Vincent for
but
such
I
a
was
short
wondering, I was like,
time.
is that a trick of the light or is that an actual patch of lighter hair?
Love that he did
Spirit spotters. I've never heard that term. I love that. I'm guessing it's like something psychics.
Well, I think just the idea that they're the only two people in the film that see ghosts.
Yeah, love.
He gave ample use of the color red throughout the film. In the scenes that precede when a dead person becomes close by, something red will appear. Red ball, red sweater, red doorknob, etc.
Oh, yeah. That evil mom's wearing red in the
scene. Will say that was one of the details I cared for the least. I felt it was too on the nose for me when the rest of the movie didn't feel that way. I was like, I don't need the red stuff.
I never really clocked it.
I did in a way that I just kept thinking like, you don't need it. Like, you don't need it. Not enough to, like, be disturbed by it at all. But this watch, I remember going, like...
It's a red balloon that floats up to the top of those stairs. Yeah. And the tent is red. Yeah. Which that's interesting. Yeah,
the red tent is interesting, even though the ghost ends up being able to go in there. But I guess that makes sense.
Because he leaves the flap open.
That's right. Mm-hmm. You is red. The Sixth Sense was one of the only 5 horror movies to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar.
I know that's right.
The others were Jaws, The Exorcist, Silence of the Lambs, and Black Swan. It was also the only one of these movies that did not win any Academy Awards, which is actually sad.
It was robbed.
It was robbed.
Well, this is 1999. The 90s every year was like banger after banger after banger, multiple bangers. So I wonder, because that's 99, that's the year like Titanic and stuff too, isn't it?
I think.
But I'm sorry, Sixth Sense, girl.
Let's go back and give them
They need to have a horror category just so you can go back and retroactively give Sixth Sense.
Honestly.
It's flowers.
But I also feel like so much of doing this podcast is us realizing how many fantastic films should have won something that didn't. So it's continuous.
They won it in our hearts. Exactly. They won the Script Daddy Award.
Which is the only thing that matters. Totally. Okay, and last, The Sixth Sense was a huge success until 2017's It. It was the highest grossing horror film of all time.
Oh my God, I love it.
It also sold more DVDs and VHS tapes than any other movie in the year 2000.
Hell yeah.
You better get it, you better get it, you better get it.
Hell yeah.
All right, what is your script score?
10 out of 10.
Can I just
Without
say,
a hesitation.
Me too.
Without hesitation.
But can I tell you how shocked I am by that?
Me too. Going into this, I was like, I feel like I'm going to like this.
Same.
I haven't seen it in a while. I remember loving the movie. But you guys, this man is like a master at his craft.
But okay, let's get into why, because I will be honest, I had to really sit with myself for a second and go like, why are you jumping to 10 so quickly? Because I feel like we've read a lot of really incredible scripts that have not been a 10 but have been like truly incredible.
For sure.
That I really had to sit with myself and go like, okay, why do I keep going like 10, 10, 10? So like, let's discuss that a bit.
Yeah, I'll read you what I wrote.
Yes, give it to us.
After reading.
Give it to us.
I said, what an incredibly layered and moving ghost story. M. Night Shyamalan set the bar high with this one. It's a concise story and the writing backs it up tenfold. There's not a lot of flowery prose, which works super nicely because clean and crisp action is all you really need when describing scary scenes and imagery. Truly horrific things don't need to be presented with a bunch of garnish when executed at this level. The story is a shining beacon of character-driven horror, but unlike lots of other horror films, this one has true depth and heart that grabs you by the neck. It's a perfect example of successfully utilizing information gaps to heighten drama, hone scares, and weave mystery. I also love how the first half of the story is mostly atmospheric horror. Then after the midpoint twist when Cole tells Malcolm in the iconic hospital scene, "I see dead people," the scares become take on a more traditional ghost story vibe as we, the audience, now have the ability to see the ghosts along with Cole. I always felt this movie was a classic, but now after reading the screenplay, I can firmly say the classification of horror classic was inevitable. This is a masterclass in storytelling. That's the main thing.
Put. Yeah.
The thing that blew me away that I never fully appreciated because, again, I haven't seen this since, it's been probably at least a decade, if not a little bit more.
Same.
And after doing this with so many other scripts now with you, I just have a different appreciation for being able to pull something like this off because it's not, I always just thought of it as a horror movie because it scared me so bad as a kid. But this time watching it, I was more touched than scared. I wasn't scared really at all. I got chills in certain moments because the dialogue is so poignant. But the man took a hard-hitting, character-driven drama. It's a fully character-driven movie. And then has horror embellishments to heighten the theming and messaging of it.
So thought out.
Yes.
I think for me, what I came back to was like, it's the best use of a page I've ever seen, if I'm being honest.
Girl.
And now what's interesting about that is not all stories can be like that, right? Like not all scripts can be as aesthetically pleasing to the eye as this script is. Script Babies, I highly recommend if you want an example of a script that is like delicious on the eye and the brain loves. You kicked your rug, darling.
My rug.
My rug. And again, it's not the reason why that matters at all, because who cares about the aesthetic? But the reason why it does is because it was the cleanest, crisp, most delicious, crisp, clear, concise script I think I've ever read.
Yeah.
Where that's why it mattered. It's not really about the aesthetic. It's that it was like, no detail was too much. He honed in so much on what you need to know while still having like a little flavor. It's not like it was like voiceless. It has a voice, but like it's so much white space.
Yeah.
There's almost zero blocks of action or like the dialogue even never goes beyond a certain point.
It's so true.
And the action, even if there is a fair amount, there are large white spaces between it. He never does paragraphs of action. And again, it's not to say to replicate that. It was just that is part of why I enjoyed it so much from a format standpoint. I was blown away by how much he was pulling off. And yet not once was I confused. Not once was I lost. Not once was I like, at all in a story where it has enough twists and things going on in it that you could very easily, if written by someone else, get lost on the page, start to make assumptions, whatever, which that is not happening.
Yeah. Which would water down the impact of
I will
twist.
say, and the only thing we said pre this, because we're very good at not getting into details pre-recording, but I did say I would spend a good chunk of change to read this without knowing the ending.
God, me too. I literally would spend money to go back in time to be able to read this not knowing the twist. Because I want to know, would I be able to clock it?
Because what I did think was interesting though was like, I felt like in the script, it felt more obvious. Whereas in the film, I think they buried it even better.
Yeah, because when you look back, when you know the twist, I had this in my movie wrap up, but like it's always in your face. He's always indicating what the twists are. And you don't know it until you look back. It's genius, the breadcrumbing. And also like what you were saying about how concise it is, that's so true because it feels so, every single word, every sentence is intentional.
Fully.
Everything has a purpose. There's no fluff. There's voice. There's total voice.
But no fluff. That's perfectly put.
Yeah. And like, because we did a script a couple weeks ago that great script, beautifully written, but so much action that it kind of like bogged down the reading experience. But this, oh my God, it's so impactful.
It's so impactful. And
like literally there's moments where that gave me chills even reading it. Like he's so great with the atmosphere.
Caps as well. Script Babies, again, it is a great example of like how to, especially with something that has suspense like this.
Yeah.
He really did a gorgeous job of not abusing it, but knowing when to let you know, like this is a heightened moment.
Yeah.
And it really did help give your body that sense of, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on without being over the top.
Yeah. I know I would recommend this, but would you as a consultant recommend this as an example script of
absolutely.
like, I mean, I think it's
Truly.
like,
yes,
it's so perfect.
That's
like, if you're a new writer, like read this.
That's
because
part of why I had to give it a 10 because I was like, one of my rules is like, I'm not going to give you notes if there's no reason to give you notes. And this is one of those scripts where I'm like, there's no notes other than appreciating aspects of it. It's so well done.
Dude, it's incredible. It's truly
and
incredible.
again, I'm saying this from a place, not that I didn't think, I actually forgot that he wrote it, by the way. I just thought that he directed it. So I had no concept of who wrote it. So it's not like I had like an assumption about like any specific person being a good writer or not a great writer, but I just didn't go into it thinking that I would be this kind of blown away by the script, that's what made me go like, oh shit, it's a 10.
Yeah. It
is the combo of voice. Again, who's speaking. You can cover the names and know who's speaking very quickly. You just feel, and again, there was a tiny part of me that was like, I think that they made smarter moves in the film, specifically with Bruce Willis and his wife.
Yes.
In the script, there were moments where I was like, but again, I know the ending. And I kept going, but if I didn't, because there were only a couple times where I was like, this feels insane that she's not responding to him. Whereas in the movie, it's perfect.
It is.
It really is believable. And
I have specific notes about that too, where they buried it so well done. It's so well that you really do think that they're this couple that's just reeling from this traumatic event that happened. There's one twist that I did forget that when I was reading, I was like, oh shit, that's right. With the reveal that Vincent was also psychic.
Yes.
And that it ruined him. And like, it's just, and that could have been so fucking cheesy.
I know.
It could have been like the biggest eye roll, but it
at all
hits you like a knife to the heart where you're like, oh,
because it hits him.
Yes.
Like a knife to the heart.
And you feel so much for every character. You are on board emotionally with the only character that you're not fully on board with is Anna. But that's because she has very little to do. And she's, this indication of like she's more of like an emotional like.
But then once it ends, you do all of a sudden go, oh, I do have more empathy for her because she's grieving her husband this whole film. And I'm sitting here going like, why is she being cold to him?
Yeah.
When you're going like, oh, no, she's grieving her husband so much 2 years later.
Yeah. She seems like, at first it seems like she's just a tool for Malcolm's
Totally.
experience, but then it's really, she's the linchpin of the ultimate twist and the realization.
Okay. Movie score.
Movie scored 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10!
10 out of
Colin!
10. Can't be anything less.
Once again, I went, Carly, are you really about to? And I went, once again, it was all the factors for me. I went, this movie only seemingly got better with age. Like, it's one of those films that is quite literally timeless. And it's so fucking well done.
It is. You know what's interesting is I enjoyed the experience of reading the script just a little more.
Okay.
I love the movie. Love the movie. Like, love the movie. And will always love it. It's just so great. But there's something about reading it. This is one of those things where, like, sometimes with the experience of reading it, I felt it was so immersive to read this. And it was so easy to slip into it and for your emotions to get, like, fucking hooked in. And I just loved reading the story.
You know what's interesting about you saying that is I think I would not have had the same thought, but now when I think about it, I was definitely more immersed reading the script, but I'm wondering if it's because I had kind of neutral expectations. So I was honestly, every page I was like, oh. Whereas with the film, I have seen it before. Yeah. And I was impressed with the changes they made. I'm excited to get into some of those. Yes. But like, I did enjoy the film so much, but I would have to agree with you. I do think I was
10.1.
But I think it's just because for me, I think it's just because my expectations were kind of like shrug about the script. So that because I was so moved by it, that would be why. Yeah. Whereas I do wonder if this was the first time we saw the film, if that would be different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But
I was expecting this to be a difficult script to read. I thought it was going to be dense. Yeah. I was like preparing myself, but
that's what's and for that reason, that is why I would recommend people reading this script because someone else would have written this different, and it really is worth experiencing how he did this because I would love to see more films like this in this like foot in two genres going on where like because I've had an interesting relationship with horror films where like I'm not as into them now because it's like I just don't want like volatile images in my head. Yeah. But I do love like a scary movie. But like to me, this is like absolutely chef's kiss, delicious, where it's like I get that like interpersonal shit going on with a side of scary, and the payoff is just immense. And I'm like, I would love to see more of a resurgence of films like this. And I'm sure there are some, and I hope that we can find some.
The Others.
Yes, girl. I love. We're doing
another.
It's happening.
Absolutely iconic
it's happening.
Twist.
Maybe
we do it this season.
We might have to do it this season. Colin and I love to like come up with a list. We have a little shared doc about our list, and then all of a sudden we'll be like, ooh, but we want to do this one. Ooh, we might have to do that
one. Iconic twist in that.
Iconic twist. Okay.
So this is what I wrote after watching the movie. I said, "This is the first time I've watched this movie and cried. I never fully appreciated just how incredible this movie is. We all think of it as this beacon of great horror, which it is, but it's so much more than just a horror film. It's a deeply touching character drama with horror elements. From the acting to the cinematography to the score, every aspect of this film is pitch perfect. I love how M. Night Shyamalan shows us indications that Malcolm is a ghost throughout the entire movie. It's so fun and well done because some of the signs are super subtle, like when Anna pulls the blanket tighter when he sits next to her on the bed after coming home from meeting Cole in the church. But he also does a great job of hiding it by making it seem like people do see him, like when Cole comes home from school and Malcolm is sitting across from his mother. Or when he's talking to Anna at the anniversary dinner, it really does seem like they're just a distant couple after the trauma of Vincent's intrusion. Haley Joel Osment brought so much depth to Cole's character. You really feel the weight of the world on this boy and just want to give him a hug and help him through it all. Overall, this is such a great example of how incredible writing can elevate a story beyond genre into a league of its own. Because it's like it defies genre. I mean,
absolutely.
Like if I had to put it in one genre, I would say it's overarchingly a drama.
Agreed.
It's a character
with
drama.
a touch of
and what scary. An absolute delicious combo.
Well, and again, this part of the reason I felt like I had to give the script a 10 is almost then in reference to the movie where you go like, it just It's just so good. It's just so good where like it exists in so many ways. Like this script is a script that is good on its own. And it was a gorgeous document in which to film from.
Yes.
And not all are. We're learning that. We're learning that like some scripts are like a divine experience to read and experience. And then the movie's great too. And then other scripts, you're like, this is a little bit more of like a document in which a beautiful film came out of. This did both. And I felt like the film really did find subtle. It was always subtle. There was never any crazy changes. It was all subtle, but they really did find the potent changes, specifically with Lynn and Cole, the mom and son.
That dynamic was so sweet.
They made subtle changes, but I loved them on the page. I believed them on the page. It made me cry on the page.
Girl,
but
heartbreaking.
watching the obviously their performances cannot be underestimated, but the changes that they made.
Yeah.
Even just the look at my face, that was a runner. And again, like as a parent, you do have these phrases that you find yourself coming back to over and over again, that it really like humanized them and made them feel more real to me. That like she has phrases she comes back to with him. Look at my face. Look at my face. Like that's so real. I'll say to Ziggy all the time, do you hear my words? Like it, you know what I mean? Like, so that, so like that was an area, but then also the other note, and Script Babies, we have come back to this so many times, like time and time again. The biggest change in this film, in scene by scene, is they raise stakes.
Girl, yes. The way that they raise the stakes and urgency in very small ways.
Very small ways.
Since it had
small
been,
but potent.
Truly. Since it had been so long since I saw the movie, reading the script, I thought it was going to be pretty much verbatim of what was on screen.
Same. So did I.
But as I'm scrolling, because nowadays every time when I watch the movie, I scroll through the script. And I was seeing how they streamline certain scenes. They cut out a lot of dialogue. They combined dialogue, but like it also, all of it served like it. Because when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, when I was reading that on the page, how interesting. I'd never clocked that as being on the nose dialogue or kind of more expository. But then they streamlined it all for the film and they hide even more. I'm just like, M. Night, girl.
M. Night.
Baby. I mean,
he did something here, babe.
He did everything here. And like, of course, he set the bar so high for himself that how can you ever...
Yeah.
It's lightning in a bottle, baby. And you know what they say.
Yeah.
You can't capture it twice.
Yeah. Should we dive in?
I think we better.
A wee bit
I have
fed.
a couple questiones.
Okay, give them to me.
I'm on the fence about this one, but I have what I think, but I'm interested to see what you say. Do you think Cole knows Malcolm is a ghost from the very beginning?
Yes.
I think so too. That's why he's running away from him.
Yes.
He comes out and he can, because later on he describes like you can feel them, like you can feel the tingling, and he knows what that feeling is.
Knows. Yeah.
That's why, because in the script, when he goes into the church and Malcolm approaches him, you see it says that Cole looks up and his face goes ashen.
Yep.
Because he's like, shit, because he's scared of these things.
Yep.
And okay, yeah, I thought so too. Oh, so good.
And what a gorgeous layer, because you're able to play it off under he's just a shy boy. He's whatever, because it's not obvious, but
it's not.
But then after reading it and then watching it, I was like, without a doubt, he knows it, because you start to see scene by scene the evolution of he starts to trust him more, and then all of a sudden now he becomes like a comfort to him. And
at the end when he says, "I'm not going to see you again, am I?" It's like, oh no, like please. I love their little dynamic together. It's so sweet and tender, and the way like the little tricks that Malcolm uses to like get Cole to like trust him and stuff. Like, oh girl, okay, we got it.
And like tender is the word. Tender is the word for the script. Now again, hear us when we say this. Tender is the word for the Sixth Sense. Like
literally,
you would not think that. And that is quite literally the gorgeousness of the script reading experience, is that it is a tender script. And it is, I do think, why the film resonated so deeply, because it was written from a tender place. It was not a person who was trying to exploit the paranormal or the dead or ghosts. It was someone who it almost felt like it definitely had a perspective, but it definitely had a perspective, but it was one that was not too like on the nose. It was more just like, It just felt like an exploration and also allowing it to be taken seriously, by the way. But again, not in a way that's preachy or like, it was just so, the characters did all the work for us.
Yeah.
Where and like you said, the fact that the client who was the one that Vincent is the one who kills him had the same gift or curse, whatever you want to call it, as Haley Joel Osment. If that was a different movie, you would be eye roll of the century.
Oh, okay.
And yet,
what are the chances of this guy getting the same thing? Like,
and yet, now I will say though, the opener in the script is fantastic. One of the things I love about it, and this is such an example when you hear start late, leave early. Yeah. This script is a start late.
It really does. And then they do that even more in the movie.
We're in the end of a date night. Like, we're not even in the middle. We're at the end of a date night. We're tipsy. She's going to grab another bottle of wine from the cellar. We're being flirty while acknowledging gorgeous exposition. Absolutely really stunning exposition. We get what we need in such an organic way between this couple. It's this private moment, and again, someone else would have started us way earlier and it wouldn't have been bad per se, but this is a great illustration of you can't fight for starting late.
Yeah. And I love it because you see how gentle Malcolm is and how not egotistical he is very quickly when she's like reading out that award to him and like they called you their son and he's almost like he's taking it in, he's accepting it, but in this very like back-footed way where it's kind of like he does that. You can see that's why he doesn't do this for the accolades. He does this because he genuinely loves children. And then one thing I thought of when you were saying how the film doesn't feel like it's exploiting paranormal stuff at all, it's because that's exactly it, is that the message, one of the messages of this is that this gift, these abilities that Cole has, while they present you with shocking imagery, it's a beautiful thing because it's to help people. It's to help these ghosts and move them on just the exact way that Malcolm was helping these children to get past and move on. And then you see that kind of like feedback loop of them doing that for each other, like Cole and Malcolm both helping each other in these different ways. And it's just with the more we talk about and explore it, it's actually like to have this story come off so clean on the page is really insane because it's actually like the character dynamics are so intricate.
So intricate.
And again, could be so eye roll, but it's so honest. This man knows character. He honed the hell out of these characters and you feel for them and believe them immediately.
You do. And what's interesting though is like in the script, again, the opener in the script is fantastic, but the changes they made from the script to the screen was interesting. Like in the script, he's way more bashful where he's like, do you believe that when she reads this gorgeous thing that the mayor wrote about him on this like medal or award or whatever, and she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, if you believe it, then I can believe it. And it's a lot more of like a vulnerable moment. Whereas in the film, I think it was really, again, subtle, but so potent. He does not say that, but instead she says, no, this is important. Like someone's finally acknowledging the sacrifices you've made, that everything else has had to come second, me included, which I thought was genius because then she follows it up with how much she loves him. So it's not like a resentful moment, but there's a beat where we get from her that this career that he has at times, has been a sacrifice and in her mind, she's had to be second to it. Despite how proud of him she is, that it kind of is one extra seed in us understanding why she's acting the way she is towards him when she's being cold to him. And again, tiny.
Like she wouldn't have it any other way.
Tiny.
She's like, it's almost as if like she's kind of indicating like I place myself second as well because I'm so in awe of your ability of what you can do to help these children.
Right, but I for some reason also interpreted it because it was so starkly different. Her dialogue, that very moment is very different in the script and in the movie. And I felt for a moment the way there's like a pause when she says like the sacrifices and everything's had to come second, myself included. There's like a pause that I felt like that like long-term relationship thing where it's like, you know what I'm saying kind of thing. And again, I don't mean that means she gets to be a cold bitch to him the rest of the time. I'm just saying like, I think that was added because it makes you feel that much more like she would have room, that there is maybe a little part of her that is a little resentful and maybe would be more activated to be colder to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It makes
so
her more
subtle.
it makes her more dynamic of
Yes.
the character. And
Yes.
also, it's also because another element of that is that turns out to be an incredibly important line of dialogue, because that is a plant that isn't paid off until the very end, after Malcolm realizes, I'm dead, I'm a ghost, and he goes to her and he's talking to her while she's asleep, and he says, you were never second. You were every... Girl, watching this as an adult, like I could like put myself in both of their characters so deep. It like broke I was having to hold back like sobs. First, it was like, I'm crying. Oh, this is very touching. But then like the longer that ending scene went on, I was like, that was so touched.
I was so touched, but I will say the mom and son shit really
in
got
the
me
car,
this time. Oh, that
and when
scene.
He's talking about like, and grandma came to you, and she's like, and you asked her a
Toni
question.
Collette is serving the performance of a lifetime of an absolute goddamn a masterclass. Her reactions alone, and again, like as a fucking mom, I was like, those two just.
I literally texted Carly yesterday after I finished the script. I was like, I must hear your take as a mother, because I can't imagine the layers of reading this as a mom with a little boy. Like, girl. So to give the script babies a little taste of what M. Night's voice sounds like on the page, I wrote down a little excerpt from page 1. It's the very beginning. Anna's in the basement, and this is what it says after she grabs a bottle of wine and she's about to go upstairs, and he indicates like it's a creepy basement. It's a creepy environment. This is what it says. It says, Anna turns to leave, stops. She stares at the shadowy basement. It's an unsettling place. She stands very still and watches her breath for a tiny cloud in the cold. Oh, sorry. She stands very still and watches her breath form a tiny cloud in the cold air. She's visibly uncomfortable. Anna Crow moves from the staircase in a hurry, each step faster than the next. She climbs out of the basement in another burst of light, quick steps. We hear her hit the light switch. The light bulb dies. Dripping black devours the room.
Dripping black devours the room. Hello?
Devours the room. Just like M. Night devoured this story and script.
Gorgeous.
Word.
And the whole script is full of stuff like that. It really, but again, quick in and out, not long, lengthy, you stick around a while. It's like very quick, but delicious.
It really is. The also on the page, so like it's a shocking like reveal in the movie when they're going upstairs and about to have sexy time. They're being all cute, taking their clothes off, and then Vincent is there. And that on the page too, it's like it hits you like, oh,
it's
shit. Like,
jarring on the page because he goes into the bathroom in the script and he's in the bath. Even though I did think once again the changes that they made for the film, him being naked, like Vincent like not having his clothes on, and it's more. I felt like the script was like jarring and like whoa, whereas like the film is disturbing. Like you're like, oh, this is wow.
That's an interesting thing because I didn't fully register this, but it's a very tiny, subtle way to heighten the urgency of the scene, because seeing a stranger in your home fully clothed is still disturbing, but not as disturbing as seeing a stranger in your home that stripped themselves down to their underwear and they're in your bedroom. Like, that's a whole other level of delusion. It just indicates the person's mental state
and desperation.
Even more. Yes. Yeah. I think was that Donnie Wahlberg who played that?
Apparently, this was one of the trivias I just realized I forgot to put. Apparently, he lost so much weight between when he booked it, when they shot it for the role, that like M. Night didn't recognize him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And also he is unrecognizable. He doesn't look like himself.
He doesn't. It's a very small role, but he leaves an impact.
In fact, whenever I thought about this movie, I would actually have like a snapshot of that moment because it is just so disturbing.
The imagery that's always
screaming. Because he doesn't really scream in the script, does he? It doesn't feel.
No.
I don't recall. Like it's disturbing in the script, but he it is screaming in the movie in a way that doesn't register on the page.
He's like, "Are you drunk? Did you get him drunk? Da da da. Yeah, no, there's no.
Yeah,
there's
no,
not
it's
even an
way
exclamation
more.
mark for
yeah,
him.
no, it's way more heightened.
Yeah.
In the film.
And it's so disturbing.
And you know, one thing I thought was interesting, and this is a very strange through line to Devil Wears Prada, but that in the script, Malcolm is Malcolm is going through his head trying to figure out which patient it was. He's vocalizing all the details. He's trying to go through his head like as if it's like this like memory bank of like, okay,
totally
find the file. Whereas in the film, they have Vincent doing it.
Oh yeah,
the
they did.
only like thinking, groveling type moment is Malcolm trying to figure out his name, and he figures it out in two or three tries. Yeah. Whereas the script, it's all him scanning his brain, which I thought was interesting because I was like, it definitely said something about Malcolm that like he has the kind of, I felt like it in the script it played into kind of his genius that he could almost go in and access
when he's drunk. No,
even when he's drunk, that he could kind of go in and like, oh, I almost pictured him like a computer screen in his brain going like divorced parents, da da da. And again, it works on the page.
It works on the page. It doesn't take out any urgency, but then when you see it in the context of how they do it in the movie, it would have gone on just a little too long because it's such a, you need the snappy.
And also if we're being,
energy of it.
And I think if we're trying to land the plane where we can, which is something I think is also poignant about this film, is for something like a ghost story, the majority of it is extremely relatable.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself, I think, is why it resonated with people so much, is because the majority of the film is relatable outside of, you know, what Haley's going through and Haley Joel Osment's going through. But like if we're being honest about how that would play out, it would more realistically play out the way it did in the film than it did in the movie. It's a lot more dialogue. It's a lot more whatever. And again, who knows? But it's like, I think that visceral, that time is ticking and you can't even, and then him shooting him feels like it still shocks you.
On the page, he takes a little bit more time. He shows the gun, and then the wife's
yeah.
scared, and then he just kind of haphazardly shoots.
Whereas the film, it's beep boop.
It's gun up, shoot, and it's like,
and then pow.
Like, oh my god, it's so much more visceral and disturbing because the quickness of it is what's disturbing.
Truly,
because you would think
you can't catch up.
Exactly. Exactly. You would think in that moment that to build the tension, you'd want to linger in it a little more. Oh, the gun's pointed at him. He's shaking. That kind of thing. No. Because that's how it would be in real life. Boom, pam, done. Oh, so scary.
You know, one thing I noticed about the script that I thought was so interesting is the slug lines are so vague. They never say whose house we're in. It's always just interior.
You know what? I
like
kind of
hallway.
love that because
it works for the film.
You see in the movie how you never really see Malcolm going places. Just like, for obvious reason too, you never see him eating. You see other people eating.
Yeah.
You see people who are living doing their things, but like Malcolm kind of appears places. And it's like he doesn't even know that that's what's happening, that he's just appearing.
I was going to ask you, I was going to say, my gut was that it was another way to kind of hide the situation. And I was going to ask you if you interpret the same. Because I realized that I went back through and I was like, oh, the slug lines are always vague.
You know, I didn't even clock it, but yeah, bench afternoon.
Yeah.
He doesn't even say where the bench is this is when he's sitting outside.
Now, again, it's this way throughout he committed to that, the whole script. So it isn't
exterior
weird.
Street, interior church.
Yeah.
Like
it never says Malcolm's home. Like it's just all,
God, I love that.
I love that because again, it speaks to how thought out it was. Yeah. He decided I have to stay this way the whole time so it doesn't give anything away. Because again, it didn't take me out. It was more like when I was reading back through it a second time, I was like, because I was kind of like doing a peruse a second time, and I was like, oh, these slug lines are never specific.
Again, every single word is intentional. Like
it's crazy.
I'm so blown away.
M. Night
Shyamalan. You're the man of the dreams. Page 12 is where we introduce Cole, and I liked his character description.
Let's hear it.
I said the way he describes his eyes gives the reader a little nudge towards his psychic abilities, but in a subtle way. Oh, yeah. It says, Cole Sears steps out of his front door. Cole is a munchkin of a boy with large black eyes that seem to take in everything around him. Cole carefully locks the door behind him.
I know.
It's so precious. And it's just like, he's just doing the best with what
Truly.
he's got. He has no context for what to do with this or what it means. He's just a scared little guy.
He's still such a little sweetie pie.
He is. Then this is also on page 12. It's just a nice line of action. So it's when Cole comes out and Malcolm is watching him from the bench. And then when Malcolm like looks down at something, he looks up and says, Malcolm barely catches a glimpse of the boy. Cole runs at full speed down the street and turns the corner. Tiny sneakers screeching on the sidewalk. For a second, Malcolm doesn't react. The second passes. He stuffs the files in his bags and starts running too.
Tiny.
I love that. Malcolm doesn't react. For a second, Malcolm doesn't react. The second passes. I love things like that.
I know. There's so much of that in there.
It really is.
One of the scenes that they took out, but again, really worked for the script. But then when they took it out, and in the scheme of the film, I was like, oh yeah, it took away from the arc, the potency of the arc, was the scene, pages 31 to 35, Script Babies, if you're looking it up. And the scene with Mr. Marshall, the old man.
I loved that.
I loved that scene.
I'm kind of glad it wasn't in the movie.
Well, because it took away his arc, where it was like, because he was already helping.
Yeah.
And at this point, he wasn't helping.
That's so true.
Script Babies, for reference, he very early, I mean, page 31 in the script, he is walking with Malcolm and there's like an old man on like his porch or something. And he tells Malcolm he's very lonely and like Mr. Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that's kind of
Marshall.
recently references like his wife coming home soon. And then like, he's
Wife
like,
ain't coming home.
no, he's not. And so he kind of lets Malcolm know like his wife died kind of thing. But then he goes inside and like keeps him company for a second. But then he like goes up and finds these journals of hers.
They're like inside of the vent.
Yeah.
Like hidden under the floor.
Right. And which also felt a little too confident for him. He wasn't at the point where he had the confidence yet.
And it also fully telescopes his abilities, and we're not supposed to know that yet. Because
100%.
Taking that out,
and I think,
you see it in the
and I also
hospital.
think that we're meant to feel like we know he knows something is going on, but that even he doesn't fully, like he knows that he sees dead people, but like the whole like rules of the game is so unclear. And so in the scene in the script, he goes and gets her journals and gives it to Mr. Marshall. And Mr. Marshall kind of has this realization of all of a sudden he remembers like she's passed. And it's this really emotional moment for all of them. Like Malcolm's emotional and it's on the page. It's really beautiful. It's really stunning. But in hindsight, I really was like, oh, that completely takes away from the arc of how quickly things change when Malcolm says to him, like, okay, have you considered that, like, maybe they want something, like, maybe you can help.
Yeah.
From that point on, that's a different kid.
It's a complete paradigm shift for
It's
Cole.
a complete paradigm shift.
I didn't even clock that. That's so true. And what's even more interesting is that kind of thing in other scripts, we would be like, don't do that. You're giving the reader too much. In this, still, we gave it a 10 out of 10 because reading the script, it's still so good, even though it does take the air out of the arc, but not really, because you still, when he arcs on the page, you're still like, yes.
Okay. So funny that you say that. One of my movie notes was when a movie is ultimately great, your viewer will look past small oversights in favor of the feelings the film gives them, as long as you don't abuse it. Like, how the hell did Malcolm get Cole's file?
Yes.
It's insane, but we don't care.
We don't care.
Now,
don't
granted,
know.
I thought about this and I was like, in the script, they make it sound like it's like worn, even though it's not in the film. It's not as obvious. In the script, they make it sound like it's worn. So you could be like, okay, maybe he had it before he died. But then it's like, why now? Like,
I have a theory.
Ooh, I want to hear.
Okay. So I have two theories.
Okay.
I think one of them is the correct one.
Okay.
But my first theory was, because I was thinking about this while reading it and while watching it, like, how did Malcolm get Cole's file? So my first thought was, Malcolm is it's been 30 days since he was shot in the script when he goes to Cole. So
I thought it was 2 years.
2 years.
It says 2 years in the script, doesn't it?
Oh, does it? I thought it was.
Yeah, it says
30
legend
days.
2 years.
Oh, then at some point in the dialogue or something, they say it's been 30 days since da da da. I thought. Oh, right. There is a legend that says
2 years.
Which
makes the timing is bizarre because 2 years is not nothing.
Okay, so then because I don't know where I got 30 days. Anyway, I thought so when I was thinking it was 30 days, I was like, okay, maybe this was a pre-existing thing that he had.
Page 11, exterior bench afternoon, the legend 2 years later appears.
Okay, so they take that out of the movie. Maybe
Yep.
it's in the movie that they say 30 days, whatever.
Oh, maybe.
So I was like, okay, so he had this pre-existing meeting with him that he didn't know, and then like forgot it, whatever.
Well, because he does say, "I'm sorry, I missed."
He's like, so I meant
In
to,
the film,
I
I'm
meant
sorry, I
to
missed
like
it.
meet you yesterday or whatever,
Yeah.
but whatever, I missed it or something. But what I think it really is that so Malcolm is a ghost. He's operating outside of the realm of our physical physics.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the abilities that Cole has naturally attracts souls to him that haven't passed on. He naturally attracts ghosts. So in this realm where things like ghosts are kind of like drawn to him and they don't fully know why, especially with Malcolm not knowing he's dead, whatever, it's almost as if that was manifested for him, this appointment, quote unquote, with Cole manifests for him
like
because he's just drawn to him. And so for Malcolm to be able to understand that in his way of not knowing that he's dead, it's, I have an appointment with this boy to help.
I love that. There's something kind of divine about that take.
Yeah.
But my point is, we never, and then also when it's done well in the edit, but when his mother finds the free writing,
Oof, yeah.
and then it's edited genius. It goes from that to Malcolm saying, you know, did you put something on your desk? And your assumption when you're watching it is that she told Malcolm.
Yep.
But we know that didn't happen. So it does
Genius.
make you go, how did Malcolm find that?
Yeah.
Unless he's, like you said, the physics of maybe he's roaming the house,
psychically
but then
picking things up and
but
not knowing it.
But my point is like, nonetheless, there are threads in this film that if you pull it, but no one cares because it's so well done otherwise that it's some of those things that are just kind of unexplainable. And like the movie moments where like, it's not abused.
Yeah.
It's just these small little question marks that are not big enough to be a hole that you're falling in.
Yeah.
It's just enough that like in hindsight, you're like, oh, and also like the sense of time gets kind of weird how like Cole's in 2 plays, like in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
But again, I was like, these were things where I kind of thought about it after in like a funny way, not in a way that like maybe go like, well, this friggin' movie. No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was just like interesting to go like, legit, you can have a couple of those moments. I don't think you should ever like aim to have those moments. If you can button things and not, then great without, you know, but this movie's so good at telling you what you need to know and then not, and really pulling back when you don't.
Yeah. It's another thing. We talked about this in one other episode. I can't remember exactly which one, but I would argue that again, if we got too in the weeds with those dynamics and stuff, it would have taken away the impact and it would have become more about than about this gorgeous character piece that we're witnessing. Page 25, the absolute iconic dialogue alert. I love this. It gives
alert.
Iconic dialogue alert. This like dialogue, I gave me chills because it's just like, oh, there's so many moments like that gave me chills. But like, it's when Cole is describing the picture that he drew. He said, everybody got upset. They had a meeting. Mama started crying. I don't draw like that anymore. And Malcolm says, how do you draw now? He says, I draw people with smiles, dogs, and rainbows. They don't have meetings about rainbows. Because if you've seen the movie, Cole tells Malcolm, like, I drew a picture. They asked us to draw a picture in school, and I drew a picture of a man who was stabbed in the neck by another man with a screwdriver. And they were all really disturbed by it. But I just love that they don't, because that's like, it's dialogue that like, no kid would really speak like this. But like, again, that's another thing. That Cole is so precocious to the point where, I mean, he's speaking Latin and stuff, but then that plays into the ability. This child is piercing the veil. He's hearing these things from adults who are ghosts, and he's just spewing that back out like a little kid would.
Totally.
And it's so good. I just love
that is a good one.
So this was a fun moment that that's what they changed out. Okay, so pages 19 to 21 in the script, Cole's mom, Toni Collette, is getting things ready in the morning for Cole to go to school, and she hears banging above her on the ceiling.
In
and
the
it's
script.
getting louder and louder and bang. And she thinks Cole is jumping on his bed.
Cole, yeah.
She's like, no jumping on the bed. Stop that. Come down here. You got to get ready for school. Jumping, bang, to the point where like some of the rubble from the ceiling is falling down. Like it's intense. And then she turns around, the banging stops, and Cole's sitting right there at the kitchen table eating his cereal. And she didn't realize that. And she's kind of freaked out by it. There's I love that because it's indicating that like there's a bunch of different moments where we show the ripple effects of Cole's abilities, not just within his own realm and how he's struggling with dealing with this, but you're seeing how difficult it makes the mom's life because to love your child, but then to also be scared of them and to not know what's going on. Like that's so layered and it's explored so well. But then in the movie, the change that they made
it's brilliant.
Was they're sitting there,
brilliant.
she's looking for something. Cole's eating at the kitchen table. The mom goes out into the laundry room or something, finds something. She comes back inside. And all the cabinets and doors are open.
It's
I'm
so
like getting
iconic.
chills
It's
thinking about it. It's
iconic.
so creepy.
So
and
disturbing.
she looks at him and she's like, were you looking for something? And poor little Cole's just lying like he's so
Pop-Tart.
used to this of having to make up these lies. And there's a moment later on when she's talking about the bumblebee brooch. And she says to him, like, why do you keep taking the bumblebee pin? You know that I love that. If it got broken, it would really upset mommy, like whatever. And you see
he's
the
trying.
layers
He's making
of
a bid for her.
Like, yes, Haley Joel Osment, the like pain in this boy's eyes where he knows he's not going to lie about this, but he knows she's not going to believe that he didn't do it. And you can just see how torn he is.
Because he's not fully ready. He's not fully ready yet to say straight up, like, I see dead people.
Yeah.
But like,
because he knows the ramifications that it'll have.
And it plays on that scene on both their ends. Like I just kept like, I'm like Tony Collette. Cause she played that line so well where it's like whenever she's upset, right underneath is love. It's like you never for a second think this is a woman that isn't completely in love with her child, but it's such real concern, frustration. She works 2 jobs.
Yeah.
She's on her own, all these things. And then these really scary, weird things are happening with her child. And she wants nothing more than to protect him and understand.
Yeah.
And for so long, he's not ready to tell her yet because the times where he kind of tried, whatever. But I just thought they played both parts so fair and that you really understood the struggle of both of them. Like you really, really did. And again, like the look at my face thing, I just loved because it was like, it showed that cyclical nature of parenthood where it's like, you're always trying your best and you have moments where you're just a little exhausted or you're whatever. It's like, take the paranormal stuff out of it. Just like the parenting of it all, the tiredness, the yelling, the whatever. But then like, how you never lose sight of how much she just wants to fix it.
Yeah.
She just wants to fix it. And one of the things I love that they did from script to screen is, again, I loved her on the page. I loved them on the page. But she's a little bit more like, a little bit, ferocious is the wrong word, but she's a little bit more like mama bear protection where you can tell like how she calls what's his face, the little shit's mom, and is like when she sees those scratches.
It's Lynn, Cole's mom. I want to talk about your kids. Start giving his goddamn hands off my son.
Yeah, like
I was like, fuck yeah, bitch.
Because and I love that because that's not in the script, and I loved that because it showed she's willing to do anything if she could understand, and she just doesn't understand, and her mind is not going to. It must be a ghost scratching my son. Mm-hmm. The only thought she can think is those fucking kids scratch the hell out of my son and they're gonna fucking hear about it. And it was like, I loved that because it added again that layer where that wasn't for him, that was for the viewer to see that she was willing to go. Like first she was not sucking up to the mom, but was kind of like pouring her heart out to the mom, being like, thank you for inviting him, he doesn't get. And then how quickly she's willing to be like, I'll burn that bridge tonight. Exactly. Like
yes,
that it made those moments where she does get a little frustrated with him that much more like heartbreaking because you're like, she just wants. And when he says, when you're not very mad at me, and you can just tell she's like, look at my face, and then she's like, please, she's begging him, just tell me.
Why are you trembling? Just tell me. And like,
I literally, it broke my heart because I'm like, even just like Ziggy sometimes will say like hurt. And I'm like, what? Like, just, do you actually hurt? Are you like, there's
like,
such.
I will blow up the world for you.
I will
like,
blow
tell me.
up, but I need to make sure we're communicating properly. But like, in how, and he's also more protective of her in the film too than in the script.
It's so
Mama,
sweet
it's always like that, Mama. Like, it's always
Because
checking in.
It kind of plays into this thing where he knows like
how it's
he's
affecting
the problem.
family.
Like,
yeah.
I can't control this. I know how it's affecting my mom. I'm trying to hide it from her, but I'm also not going to lie. But also, I can't tell her the full truth. Oh God, it's just so layered.
I don't even have the words. I don't even know the words. Like the way they're always when she says, I've been praying, but I guess I'm not praying well. So we have to answer each other's prayers and like whatever. Yes, and like, again, like you're like, those are big stakes to put on a child, but you understand why she's at the point where desperate. She's going like, please.
You can see like, cause you don't see it, but you can infer like she's tried everything. And like
everything.
And her son's just so like disturbed by this. And like the helplessness and powerlessness you would feel in that moment. Like,
but all of that buildup then leading to that gorgeous scene at the end is
it's so cathartic in the best way.
And because once again, he really, 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 really thought about how can I do this with the least amount of dialogue in the sense that like,
yes.
If that scene were some long fucking 10-page scene about all these details, it would have gone right beep bop boop. It was like, we're at the point where they're both primed. And now Cole is a different boy than he was before. Yeah. Cole now knows the power of what he can do. And now he's ready because I think he's not afraid to hurt her anymore. Yeah. I think before he still had so much shame that he was like afraid to hurt her. Yes. Whereas now he saw it as a gift and now he can give that, it can actually be healing for his mother.
Because now he's like, well, absolutely. Because then in his little mind, it'd be like, well, grandma told me this.
Yes.
And if this helped those people, this is what will help my mom.
When he says the whole, like, she saw you dance, I can't even. But when he says, you went to her graveside and you asked a question, and I literally am going to get choked up. And her answer was every day. And he's like, what did you ask her? And she's like, do I make you proud? Whatever. I was
unwell.
I was unwell. I was the best. And the funniest part is my dad was coming over. Because our shower was, he had to like recock this thing in our shower. And I'm in the bedroom in this scene crying. Right. And I hear this little ding ding on my door. And my dad walks in and he looks at me like this. And I was like, I'm watching The Sixth Sense. And he was like, oh my God. It was so funny. The timing was crazy. But I mean, truly, that could have been so cheesy. It could have been but it was the perfect setup, perfect payoff, gorgeous.
Yes. Honestly, every part of this movie could have been so fucking cheesy, handled by a different writer. Like it just
and director, to be honest.
Yeah.
He so clearly was the man for the job because he held the vision. And I would like to think that the vision is clear enough on the page that I would love to think that a director could have inferred those things.
I wouldn't want to see anyone else.
I wouldn't want to see anyone else. He knew.
He was so the channel for this story. Like it was so meant to be. It's oh God, it's so good. The stuttering Stanley scene. Are you fucking kidding me? This is what I wrote for that. It's pages 43 to 47 on the page. I said the classroom scene where Cole starts shouting stuttering Stanley is so disturbing. It shows the raw power of Cole's untamed abilities. Such a fascinating and well-executed scene. It's also heartbreaking because it reminds us that Cole is truly a victim of circumstance. How can he expect to ever be seen as anything more than a creepy little boy when he can't control his abilities himself? It's like heartbreaking, but also so intriguing. And also like, because like that's another thing. Cole knows these different details about people. It goes beyond him talking to dead people at certain points, and you kind of get the vibe that Cole has greater abilities than just being able to talk to the dead. He's kind of psychic in a way too. When he comforts his mother when she's having the nightmare about him, he says, you sleep now, mama. And like in that moment, did you take that as like he has an ability to like kind of calm and heal people?
I took it more as just like, again, his protective nature and like how they're kind of each other's everything. And it was like he saw a moment where he could actually calm her when he does the opposite normally.
Mhm.
That it just registered. But that is very interesting.
Yeah.
That maybe because again at that point he wasn't fully conscious of stuff yet. That maybe it really could be interpreted that way.
Yeah, because right after that is when he goes back and Mischa Barton's in his tent. Little baby Mischa Barton.
Also, this is so strange. But first off, that is one of the snapshots of the film that I'll never forget.
Always stuck with me. Yeah.
Also, like I literally didn't know what Munchausen by proxy was until this film.
Oh, like when you saw it back in the day.
Like
same.
I did not know what it was.
God, it's so disturbing.
It's so disturbing.
So disturbing.
But again, done so well.
Yeah. And for that to be like the linchpin of his arc too, of like seeing the real world effect of his abilities and that like he can get justice and retribution for people. Not only can he comfort people, he can bring justice.
And then he has like Malcolm with him too. Because then you're thinking about it and you're like, he's really by himself.
Yeah.
But and when he says, don't leave, and he goes, and Malcolm goes, I definitely won't. I thought that was like the cutest response to give to a child. That is a person who's around a child, like, and knows children, to say, I definitely won't. You would never say that to an adult. To an adult, you would say, I won't.
You can tell that M. Night Shyamalan has kids, or
the
he does have at least, I know at least he has a daughter.
But it like tickled me the way he was like, I definitely won't. I was like, that is how you speak to a child.
There's another moment in that scene that's another one of those movie moments that you just like, in any other movie, be like, oh, well, that's a plot hole or something like.
Which part?
Because at the funeral scene when he shows the dad the VHS tape that shows that the mom was poisoning the girl, Kara. A little random boy shows up to this funeral and he's walking around and no one notices it or says anything. But like, you don't care.
You don't care.
Because I don't want to know the details of that. I don't want to know why no one recognized him because I'm so glued and I'm dialed the fuck and I'm locked in on this little boy
100%.
and his journey. I don't give a fuck. It's like, that's why, like, and you get away with those things when you're executing a story at its highest level because there are certain things where you just don't need it for a movie.
And it also felt like, too, every moment of that, even us just sitting here right now, we can brainstorm a reason. And that enough, I think, shows that none of these are gaping plot holes. They're just small ones where, like, you could say, when people are grieving like that, they're so like in their own world. And the dad, so clearly, they did a great job at showing like the dad is almost comatose. Like he's so not in the same world that the most, to be honest, them going up to the bedroom was more to me like, damn, like no one's noticing. But again, you're like, we'll use grief as the thing, whatever. That, again, small plot hole, but so small that I could come up with a reason right now that's probably not it. But that's a great example where if you're trying to find the litmus test of like, how big can my plot hole be? It should be about the size that someone could come up with something and go like, it could be that.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Love.
It should not be.
That's a great advice.
It should not be. I have no fucking clue. That's fucking insane. That's our litmus test. We don't want to be on that side of the scale. We want to be on I don't know, but I'm assuming it's this.
Yes, God.
We'll do that as a daddy do.
Love.
An early daddy do.
Also, that could be a great social clip potentially. So love that. Another. Oh my God. Okay. Another very subtle. No, it's actually not subtle. Tiny change that heightened the urgency and the stakes so much.
Darling?
Page 58 in the script, but the birthday party scene with the crawl space. On the page, you don't hear a spooky voice coming out of the crawl space. And I would even argue that on the page that may have come off as a little cheesy. But in the movie,
it's pretty forgettable on the page.
Yeah. When Cole's walking up to that crawl space in the movie, you hear this guy go, please let me out of here. I didn't do that. Let me out of here. And you know there's something in there. And this is before we fully know that he can speak to, but like it's the scene right after.
Voice.
The scene right after that is when he says, I see dead people. But I loved that because it makes it scary as fuck. And then when he's placed in there, something's in there. And then when that's because on the page, you kind of infer, well, you know that something was in there because you see the scratches on his back, and he had told he told Malcolm that I see dead people. But it just hits it home even more, makes it more crystal clear without being cheesy and super.
You know what I also kind of love that I was just thinking about it is like the messaging of the film too. And again, this is like inferred. This isn't certainly not like what he's saying, but it was something that is so interesting about the film is that it's like until he accepts and understands what these ghosts are trying to get from him or trying to articulate whatever, they're hurting him until he understands, and then they're not hurting him anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's something really, take ghost out of it, where it's like these things that happen in life that can be so scary and so painful, but it's like until you can figure out like a seedling underneath it of, I'm not saying like, I certainly am not going to sit here and be like, for every shitty thing, but I'm just saying like that idea of going like, this movie is so visceral and that like he does have slash marks on him, which you could easily walk away. The movie could have very easily left it at these ghosts just have bad intentions. They just want to harm, but that's not what this movie is saying. This movie is saying they are trying to get through to this child who does not yet have the understanding of that. And so it is solely terrifying until someone says like, what if they're trying to tell you something? And then everything changes. There's so much potency to that, even when you take the ghost story out.
Yeah, it's like that saying, why is this happening for me, not why is it happening to me? Yeah, absolutely. I love. This is how the crawl space sequence, this is how it's written on the page. I like the way that it was written. It says, so it's page 58 in the script. It says, it happens too quick for Cole to react. Darren and Tommy shove Cole backwards. He stumbles into the darkness of the crawl space. Tommy slams the door closed. Darren turns the lock. They crack smiles at each other as Cole bangs on the door. The banging goes on for a few seconds and then just stops. Silence. Ugh.
Insert barf.
Yep. Silence. Darren and Tommy look at each other and then back at the crawl space door. Then the screaming begins. Darren and Tommy back away from the door as Cole screams in terror at the top of his lungs. He crashes over and over against the door, his body slamming against the wood. Ugh. The door rattles like it's going to break off its hinges. The two boys are statues as Cole's blood-chilling yells fills the hallways. Footsteps spike the air as children and mothers come running down the hall. Lynn is one of them. Darren's mother turns the corner. Darren's mother, what the hell's happening? She looks to the closet. The high-pitched screams cut through the wall. Lynn, it's Cole. Lynn and Darren's mom rush to the door and turn the knob. The door slides open. Cole is seemingly thrown out. He lands right in his mother's arms, unconscious. Darren's mother looks into the crawl space. There's nothing inside except a couple packing boxes in the back. She looks at Lynn. Beat. You know what? In the movie, actually, I don't fully know this, but I don't think that they show the other kid lock the door. I think they show him like close it, and then the mom is like trying to yank the door open,
and then all of a sudden it just.
And that's another thing of like another like spooky like paranormal thing of like this ghost is keeping it closed and torturing this child.
It's also a lot more isolated in the film where the other moms barely hear the screaming. Lynn is the one that really is like the main, like, is something going on? What are you guys doing? She goes up there, pushes through the kids, and then she's the only one trying to open the door. Like they let her be again, that protector, that mama bear of like.
It's almost like an intuitive thing because there's loud music playing. She thinks she hears something, but then she goes up there. And like the screams kind of stopped at that point, but the boys are just kind of like looking at the crawl space door like, oh shit.
And I also love the choice that even though on the page it was creepy to think of his body being like thrown out, for the tone of the film, it was more heartbreaking for him to be limp, and she picks him up and he's limp. Like that as a mother is almost scarier. Like it is scary in like that like, oh, movie way that he would be like thrown, that's like scary. But I also think for where we were at in the film, like him being thrown would have
been a little bit too much.
Would have thrown things.
Yeah, agreed. On page 63, I just had a realization that like this is so obvious and but like I never fully realized or like appreciated until this reading and viewing of it that like so like ghosts are ghosts because they have unfinished business.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcolm's unfinished business is Vincent, and that he couldn't help that little boy. And so it's kind of like, not kind of, it's, he fully says that's why he's so doggedly going after helping Cole.
Yeah.
And because you see they have the different like character traits that both of them shared, like antisocial, possible mood disorder, that
divorced
kind of thing.
parents.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That could also play into, again, all assumption, but that could also play into the why he was just drawn to Cole, because Cole is the answer for these ghosts to finish their business and move on. And so like the little girl, Mischa Barton, she just shows up at his house.
Yeah.
These ghosts just manifest in front of him because he's one of the rare people who can help them with that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to think, Malcolm all that was just brought to him, and he just assumed that this was his client. But no, baby.
And because the movie, we are first with Malcolm, we are experiencing the film through Malcolm's POV versus Cole's, which it would be a different movie if we started with Cole and then Malcolm came in. And so it's like, that's also part of it, is that it's like, we're guessing all these things because we entered this through Malcolm.
Yeah.
Whereas, so you know what I'm saying? Do you get what I mean? Like if this was all through Cole, that is an interesting thing to think about though. This movie, like mainly POV from Cole's perspective.
Yeah. It would be more traditional horror.
Totally.
Because you'd be seeing the ghosts and stuff. Like with I'm glad they took out the hospital thing where we back up and we see all the ghosts in the room, but like that scene tells you, because when he says, I see them everywhere, and he's like, all the time, like literally, there's ghosts everywhere all the time. That would be fucking terrifying. Oh, like when they're on the bus on the way to the funeral at the end, and then they're passing the cemetery, and he like looks away really quick. I'm like, oh my God, it broke my heart. In the script babies, in that scene when they're on the bus, they pass by this prison, and you see this ghost in like a prison uniform run up to him. He's like, my name's not Sinclair. And then like he gets shot in the chest. I'm glad they took that out, but I thought that was an interesting kind of atmosphere.
Well, and then like towards I will say, like, again, the movie found its ways to like hide Malcolm being a ghost better, where like we talked about it already, like at the beginning, but like in review, like him sitting across from Lynn when Cole comes home from school, it absolutely set up to look like they were talking.
Yes. Yeah.
And like him being at the play, like they really find more subtle moments in the movie to insert that.
Yeah.
But what did you think about because this was not in the script, what did you think about the moment where they're both sitting there and we think they're talking, but then Lynn goes to Cole and says, can I tell you about my day? And she just comes up with like the most like, I went to the beach. It was and then he does his little like, I was picked first, whatever. I just thought it was so interesting because again, that is not in the script.
It's not.
But it was such a sweet little moment. And it also spoke to like how aware they are of each other's reality, that this is such a departure from what our days were actually like.
I loved it because it worked double duty where you are seeing this mom and one of her like tactics for getting her son there's this just reminded me of another scene that was like, broke my heart, but also like made me feel tender. But like there's so many ways this mom is trying to ease the burden for Cole. She knows her son is disturbed, and she tries these little ways to break him out of that routine of being so scared all the time. And that's one of them where she's like, let me tell you about my day, and it's this fantasy day, but then it plays double duty because you're getting the character work in that scene from a writing standpoint is that you're seeing their internal desires. You're seeing what they want life to be on the other side of this trauma. And for both of them, Cole wants to be accepted and loved. The mom wants to have a day off and wants to just be able to lighten the load. Another scene with Lynn and Cole that's not in the script, but that is just like, God, it breaks your heart, but it's also a hug at the same time, is when they're coming out of the grocery store and Cole's sitting in the buggy and she starts running and they're having fun and he kind of puts his arms out and like lets the wind blow through his hair. And it's like she does that just to give him a little moment of joy because she's all like it's another thing if you see how much she loves her son. That they both are each other's whole world.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and it's just done in such an organic, authentic way where you just, it makes you, because you see these bids that she makes for him that then again, it makes your heartbreak for her heartbreak then when she is frustrated, but that she never stops seeking. And then the added stakes of not in the script, but in the film, when she takes him to the hospital after the birthday party, M. Night being the doctor. Also, another trivia I didn't say.
Oh,
Apparently,
yeah.
that scene was way longer, but he hated his performance, so they like trimmed it down. But also, it was like that scene did not need to be longer than it was.
But also good for him to take his ego out of it and be like, actually, I
Because
sucked in that scene, I'm
apparently
gonna
a bunch
take
of
it
people in it, apparently a bunch of people in his family are doctors, and so he felt like he like didn't live up to it or something like that. But that in the movie, they're insinuating they're like the social workers here. They're insinuating she did it.
Yeah,
and
they fully do.
And
They think she's
again, the
abusing him.
raising of the stakes of that's not in the script at all. It's
true.
It's the doctor in the script. The doctor's just going, "There's nothing wrong with him," and she's
Right.
going, "Then do more tests because there is something wrong." And they're like, "There's just not." And it works on the page, but again, in the film, you get angry for her because you're
Yes.
like, this woman is going losing her mind trying to make this better, and now she has to sit through a social worker acting as if she's hurt her son.
I wanted to jump through that screen when they were insinuating that she might be the cause of the cuts on his arms and shit. I was like, how dare you? But again, like you said, what a gorgeous way to raise the stakes and the urgency and to make you feel even more because like you know what's going on.
And similar with Anna and the guy from her work in the script, they're never really they're barely in person together.
Yeah.
They have one moment where
Mostly
he,
on the phone.
He puts like a necklace on her at one point and like that's it. Whereas it's way more visceral in the movie. There's a lot more togetherness. They almost kiss.
Yeah.
Which justifies the rock throwing and like breaking the window more.
In the script, he like fully breaks the like slams
well, he
the
fully
door
breaks
and
it, but also they're not kissing. Like it's a tender moment, but it's like he's putting a necklace on her.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, like they're about to kiss, and if you were the husband, you'd be pissed.
Yeah, and then because in the script as well, you don't see Malcolm after that.
No,
it's like
it just says he's
a
walking
door
angrily.
slams and it crashes. But in the movie, we fully go out and we see that Malcolm's the one that like punched the window and he's like walking angrily down the street. So we got to talk about by far the most iconic scene in this movie. We've already talked a little bit about it, but that hospital scene at where one of the all-time great lines of dialogue, "I see dead people," happens. There was, so in that moment on the page, it's genius because, and this is another reason I'm really happy they took out the reveal that there's all these other ghosts in the room, is because he's like, "I'm ready to tell you my secret now," and it's also, God, that scene is so great because it's chilling, but it's also, there's heart in every sequence of this movie pretty much. Like the scares come with a side of heart. Like they're candy coated in heart.
Did someone order heart?
Order up. But because you see Malcolm trying to get through to Cole, he's traumatized in this bed. He just had a horrific experience with a ghost. And he tries to tell him this shitty bedtime story. And Cole calls his ass out. He's like, "You've never done this before. You got to get better at storytelling." And so then Malcolm's being inauthentic. And Cole is so hyper aware of this with adults being inauthentic around him because no one believes him. He's fending for himself all the time. That when Malcolm is being cagey with him, he's like, he asked Malcolm, "Why are you sad?" And Malcolm's like, "Oh, I don't talk about that," or whatever. And so you see Cole turn away. And then Malcolm gets real with him. He tells it like a bedtime story. Once upon a time, there was this man named Malcolm. He couldn't help this kid. And then he met this other boy that reminds him a lot of that boy, tells him the whole thing. And then when he's finally honest, truly honest and vulnerable with Cole, that is the key that unlocks Cole's vulnerability. And he turns to him and, oh God, it's chilling. Where he's like, "I'm ready to tell you my secret." And so in the script, he says, "I see people." He's like, "What kind of people?" Like, you said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I see dead people." In the movie, though, they strip that all out, and he just says, "I see dead people."
Iconic.
Fucking iconic.
Sometimes you just gotta say it.
And he says, they're everywhere. I see them all the time. And then, it's such a good little breadcrumb that you don't know is a breadcrumb in that moment when you don't know the twist. Malcolm looks at him, he goes, "Are there ghosts in here right now?" And Cole says, "Yes." Because Malcolm is the ghost.
Because Malcolm
But
is
in
the ghost.
And then in the script, we pull back, and that's when we see all the ghosts in there.
Yep.
And we see because then it's like, oh, he's talking about these ghosts in the room. But I'm glad they took that out because You don't need that. It would have been too horror.
But thank God they had it in the script because it buries the lead better.
Yes.
Because without it, you would be going like...
Yes, for the purposes of a script, actually, yes. Oh, girl. Yes.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Actually, yeah. You wouldn't want to take that out of the script because you're
you
so
would literally
right.
go
for the
like,
purposes of like this getting through to the reader.
Bitch, who?
Wait.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, you can't take anything out of this script. It is a 10 out of 10.
It is a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Okay, yeah, and then I said this in my little wrap up, but I love how after the midpoint, also the I see dead people, that hospital scene is such an iconic midpoint twist.
100%.
Like it is so good because then after that you don't see the ghosts until he says I see dead people. Then you're seeing the ghost. Then after that, it's the woman in the kitchen with the dinner's not ready yet. How can you do this? Haven't you done enough to me? And she's cutting. Oh, that imagery fucked me up. But you know what is okay? So I first saw this movie when I was 10 years old. So of course these things were burned into my little developing brain because I was horrified.
Mischa Barton barfing is just on a loop.
Yeah, like so the woman in the kitchen with the cut wrist burned to my mind. The main one burned to my mind though, which is really great, really well written on the page. I'm going to read it for the Script Babies. The school hallway scene with the hanging bodies. That shit is the number one image that was burned to my mind.
And by the way, though, I'm so glad it's in there because it's a call out to history too.
I never clocked that either.
And they like, don't rub your nose. Again, it's not like some big, they don't make a meal of it. But I love that it's a little call to history where the teacher's like, no, that didn't happen here. No. And he's like, yeah, I did. And then you see it. And again, and what's funny though, is because I think we were so young, it is, I mean, it's a horrific image, but I will say it is described more like bloodily gruesome.
Yes.
Whereas like it is for a horrific image, they allowed it to be somewhat tasteful.
It's their eyes. Those
yes.
horrified eyes looking at him.
It's horrifying.
But it's not egregious.
But when I was reading it, my mind pictured them like dripping with blood.
Agreed.
Kind of. Whereas like they didn't go that route. They just let you have to sit in the visual of a family being hung.
Mm-hmm.
A black man, a white woman, and their
racism.
Son. And
hello, America.
It was so poignant. And that's the moment where he's explaining to Malcolm what it's like.
Yeah. Oh my God. I want to throw my hat right now. That dialogue when he's like, oh, when you're really still, you can feel them. Do you feel the hair on your back of your neck? So it's like you're falling really fast, but you're standing. I literally have goosebumps on my arm right now because watching that this time, there's just, it was such a different experience this time because that line of dialogue is chilling, but just watching it this time, it really, the gravity of it and his performance hit so much where, it's so horrifying, but this is how the hanging bodies are written on the page. It's page 75 in the Script Babies. It says, Cole's POV, the light dangling at the top of the stairs sways a little, but so do the three bodies hanging by their necks from a wooden beam. It's a truly horrific sight. A black man in breeches and no shirt, face beaten to a pulp, hangs in the center. A white woman in a torn white frilly dress, tears soaking her face, hangs to the right. A small mixed-race child in half pants hangs to the left. The family stares at Cole. They follow Cole with their tortured eyes as he exits the stairwell. I want to read the dialogue really quick of what Cole says, just in case anyone's never seen this movie. What are you doing with your life?
Also, don't listen to this and let us ruin it for you.
Truly, yeah. Maybe turn this off and go watch the movie first. But
even though we already
page 76. Here it is. Is anyone there? No, sheep. Let's see, they are either there. Make them go. Okay, here it is. Oh, here it is. It is page 74. He says, the sound of the door opening behind him is heard. Cole steps in. He moves close to Malcolm. Cole is trembling slightly. Malcolm, what is it? Malcolm follows the child's gaze up to the stairs. I don't see. Be real still, Cole says. Malcolm looks to Cole and then back to the top of the stairs. Malcolm's body becomes very still. Beat. Cole. Sometimes you feel it inside, like you're falling down real fast, but you're really just standing still. Malcolm looks up at the empty stairwell. You feel prickly things on the back of your neck. Beat. Malcolm. I do, actually. Cole. The tiny hairs on your arm. Are they standing up? Malcolm glances at Cole, surprise on his face. Yes. Beat. That's them. Malcolm. Them? Malcolm looks at the empty stairwell and then back to Cole. Nothing is said for a few moments. I don't see anything. Are you sure they're there? Cole? Malcolm turns back to Cole. He finds the child with tears in his eyes. Cole looks at Malcolm desperately. Make them go away. And then in the script, Malcolm says, I don't know how. In the movie, when he says, make them go away, Malcolm says, I'm trying my best. What a great change that is.
I agree.
From I don't know how to it just reinforces that all this man wants to do is help these kids. Oh my God. My last note is on page 103 to 109. I said the reveal that the mother was slowly poisoning her child still fucking hits.
Oh, it's horrific.
Like,
it's absolutely horrific. I literally, before I saw it, I didn't know that was even a thing that could exist. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, it's so well done. And it's even kind of, I think it's arguably one of the most slightly obvious moments in it where she's so takes the product and beep boop, but again, you don't care because you're so horrified by what's happening that you're you don't even care that we're really making sure you can tell she's using a cleaning product. You don't care because again, you're so in it and you're so horrified at what's being done. And then when the mom says, and don't say it tastes weird, I don't like that. Oh, girl.
You know what's weird? When I saw that as a kid, so in the script, it tells you they're cleaning products. It's floor cleaner.
Yep.
And that she reads the label to make sure it's ammonia based. I'm guessing there's some sort of science there where maybe ammonia is it's going to kill you slow or whatever. I don't know, assumptions. But me and my tiny little 10-year-old child brain, do you know what I thought she did? I knew it was some sort of poison. For me, what I told myself was that she was putting roach poison into her food.
To be honest, I weirdly am I feel like I probably thought the same thing because I just wouldn't have thought
I don't know why, there's not a roach on the label. There's nothing. I just told myself she's putting roach poisoning in there. It's
obviously roach poisoning because everyone has household roach killing things.
A big bottle of it. God.
You know what I just realized too is how part of why that little girl came through to him was not even just for justice for herself, it was for her sister because they said when the guest at the funeral goes and now the other daughter's starting to fall sick.
Girl, yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. I think that's really why she did it.
Yeah.
Yes, just for herself, but really because he says to her, she looked out for you. Oh my God.
I know.
M. Night.
It's M. Night. We gotta talk. We're we just want to say thank you.
You know what? Paging M. Night Shyamalan. To the office, M. Night Shyamalan.
The office for hugs.
You know what? Actually, we're not going to the office. M. Night, we're going to the temple. We're going to the temple. We're going to your altar, and we're praising. We're praising.
The last thing I just wanted to point out was that I thought that this movie, again, they bit off so much. It was an ambitious story and they did it so well, but they allowed some of the rules that we have to be simple. And even though I kind of said the red thing wasn't my favorite thing, whatever, it's a simple rule and it's consistent and it allows the viewer to tap in. And also the temperature. This is a story that you can't overcomplicate with crazy fucking rules. And the fact that the main rules were temp and then the red stuff is genius because it didn't bog the story down. It was simply an addition. It was a nice addition that let us know that all the time, when we have the scene where all the cupboards are open and then she's freaked out and then he leaves and we see the handprint come up. Okay, it's cold.
That was a question that I wanted to ask you. What did you think because that image of the handprint fading was another image that was really burned into my mind as a kid and it feels so significant. But I'm still left wondering, what do you think the significance of that was? For me, I'm thinking, is it just a show that he was kind of more heightened? Because I don't think it's solely artistic to show that.
It was a temperature thing, but I guess maybe if
I feel like it was
you wouldn't have that.
Because I feel like it's supposed to be he was scared in that moment and his temperature was rising and his palms were sweating.
In an otherwise cold room or something.
Yeah, his palms were sweating and he was scared because the mom sees that and she's kind of she clocks it and oh, that's like odd.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you thought, if you thought there was a
I don't
significance
know why
there
I
beyond
took
that.
it to temperature, but like again, if
I like
it's
that.
cold, why would your handprint be there? Unless your body temp was warm. I guess that would make sense.
Or
If
like
the room was
hands are
cold
sweating,
and
yeah.
your hands are like kind of sweaty, that it would do that. Yeah. I just thought it was, you know, it's again, it's not on the nose, but it's very clear that like we're dealing with this temperature thing, that we have a really tight shot on
the thermostat when that goes
and,
down
like,
when he's peeing. I love because we've set up the temperature so much at that point again, but not to a point of being egregious or overdone.
Especially because the movie starts with it, and at that point, we don't know anything about dead anything.
Yes, exactly.
She's just cold.
The fact that Lynn's...
She gets him sweatshirts.
Yes. And the fact that Lynn's house never is warm, and she's like, I swear this thing's broken. I don't care what they say. Again, and it's always full of ghosts and everything.
It's so thoughtful.
I love, though, that, like, yeah, so they set up the dynamics or the rules for the ghosts with the temperatures, like the main thing. And yeah, so when you see that shot when he's peeing, you know, oh shit, something's about to go down. Because now you have the information. He sees ghosts.
Yep.
We know that. And the very next scene after that is that thing. You're like, fuck, what's he's gonna see? Is that scary woman?
And I thought, as much as like this is slightly off topic, but as far as like the arc and the wrap up goes, like as much as I did have a moment where I was like, 2 plays, like what are we doing with time here? Like that typically a school doesn't have 2 plays in like a very short span of time, and we're meant to feel like it's a short span of time, whatever. But
it's
even
one of the more movie moments.
But one of the significance of it being like, and they dive deeper into it in the script where Malcolm kind of calls out where he's like, dude, he doesn't say dude, but he's like, you're like hiding behind your little cardboard thing in the first play he's in. He's essentially saying like, you're not active in your school with the kids and any of that stuff. And you still have it inferred in the movie, but in the script they really go into it. But like then to see that he's the one that pulls the sword out, the significance of that he's doing that for these ghosts everywhere.
Yeah.
But that he's owning it. All of a sudden the kids are laughing with him and they're celebrating with him. And then the way he's like playing with his sword after, and Malcolm, like he's talking to a different kid. And it's so sweet, beautiful that it made me go, I don't care that we're doing 2 plays back to back, because it was one of those like layered significant things where you're going, no, like this isn't just like, oh, another play. Like it was actually a smart vehicle to show the change.
Yeah. And another little button to like really, really hone the arc even more is, I just realized this, in that final scene with Malcolm and Cole where he is playing with his little sword afterwards, and he's like, I'm not going to see you again, right? And he's like, no, I think this is the last time or whatever. And Cole, what does he say to him? Why is this blanking out of my mind right now? Cole, this is very subtle. It's not overt at all, but it solidifies Cole's arc even more because Cole says, well, can we pretend that we'll see each other tomorrow? And it's the first time he doesn't want a ghost to go away.
Yeah.
He knows this man's a ghost at this point.
I didn't think about that.
And he's like, but can we just pretend? He knows he's done his job. He's helped this man. Well, maybe he doesn't fully know, but I'm adding this, but like, so.
But I think he does know, because think about
so
all
too.
the other ones do disappear. So he probably
does.
And
he doesn't want him to go. And then he gives Malcolm, he solidifies Malcolm's arc by saying, I think I know how you can talk to your wife. Talk to her when she's asleep. Then she has no other choice but to hear you. And then, because Cole knows.
Because he spoke to his mom.
Yes.
That part I didn't fully track on. God damn it, Cole. The sweetest boy.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
We love this movie. We love this movie.
I did not expect.
I did not either.
To be blown away.
I didn't
like
either. This one was a shocker. I knew I liked the movie, but that was about as far as it went. And now I just have such a newfound respect for the whole thing.
Yeah, it's just incredible. It needs more awards.
And also, I want to point something out. We went on a tear about the Queen Meryl in a past episode, talking about how skillful of an actor she is.
Yeah.
And someone commented something about like celebrity
worship.
And I just want to say something. You're never going to hear Colin and I celebrity worship ever. But one of the gorgeous parts about sitting down and doing this is giving people their flowers.
Yeah.
And
it's an art.
I take like immense pride and gratitude in the fact that we get to sit here and highlight people who are working in their highest capacity and don't often get enough flowers or whatever, that like you're going to hear it over and over again, but it's never going to be celebrity worship. It's going to be honoring artists who put themselves out there and deserve to be credited for the performances that they do that literally change people's lives. Yeah. There, I said it.
Movies that are potent help you inform your place in the world, and it can help reinforce your morals. It can change your perspectives. Like, stories go beyond entertainment. It's a deep primal part of the human experience is telling stories and listening to stories. And to reduce it down to reduce someone's gorgeous channeled performance of bringing a character to life in a way where they are taking a false, fake, made up thing and making it relevant to your life,
bringing it to
where
life.
You can get all these different layers of existence and existentialism. To bring that through is not something that should just be scoffed at.
No.
And it's not us worshiping celebrities.
Oh my, ever.
It's like,
that's not this podcast.
No. Like, celebrity culture is weird and creepy, and there's so much that's wrong with it.
But that's not what we're doing here.
No, we're saying these are things that people need to, like, everyone knows Meryl Streep is great.
Yes.
Like a Toni Collette.
Toni Collette, that's what I mean. That's why I was saying, I was like, no, like Toni Collette really did. Like, the character is really well written, but she truly, truly, truly was meant to play this role and brought life to it in a way that was visceral for me as a mother. I felt it on the page, but I felt it through her performance. It was so authentic. It was so engaging. Same with Bruce Willis. He grounded these characters I'm just like, guess what, baby? Part of this is the gorgeousness of us platforming writers who never get enough flowers, truly. Ever.
Yeah.
And like you and I have talked about, even like talking about like up and coming writers, where if we read something, like wanting to be able to like platform that too, because that is the gorgeousness of this. Is like we get to do this. So anyway, Toni Collette, I just had to say, like, I was just over and over again. I felt like I just like couldn't take my eyes off her performance.
Have you seen Hereditary?
No, because Scott told me about something that happens in it, and my mental image of the visual is so bad that I'm afraid that
one of the most fucked up horror movies.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it.
Her performance.
Yeah, Scott said it was insane. She's never done a bad performance ever. She's one of those where you're like, rest at ease. She is at the helm.
Pass the ball to Tony.
Pass the ball to Tony. Okay, daddy doos. What are they?
Dibbly
what do you got?
Diddly
daddly doos.
I got 3 diddy daddy doos. Daddy do number 1, Daddy do. Disguise expository breadcrumbs as character traits. This movie is able to provide real haunting twists by telling the reader everything they need to know from very early on, but disguised in ways that seem benign. Like when we first meet Cole. At first, he seems like a weird, anxious kid, but in retrospect, you see that he's weird with Malcolm from Jump because he knows he's a ghost. Or in the very beginning when Vincent says, "Do you know why you're afraid when you're alone? I do," indicating the ultimate twist that he's psychic too. Or how Malcolm's side pain is indicated as a side effect of his injury from getting shot, but really it's trying to remind him that he's dead the whole time. When we can hide these twists and revelations in plain sight, giving the reader something to harken back to and realize their assumptions were wrong, you can create an enduring story that impacts readers and viewers on multiple cognitive levels.
Oh, absolute gorgine. And that is so spot on.
Read this script for a masterclass in doing that.
Yes.
It's such an inspired, it's a work of art. It's insane.
That's so good though.
Daddy do number 2. Daddy do describe horror with clear and concise prose. One of this story's greatest strengths is that it shows you the terror without needing to embellish it to increase impact. While I love flowery language and use it a lot in my own writing, this story is an incredible reminder that scary things can be much more disturbing when told point blank.
Oof, yes.
Million. Daddy do number 3. Daddy do lead with character. For a ghost story in particular, we need lived-in realistic characters to fully engage. M. Night Shyamalan does a wonderful job at creating characters that feel like people you'd meet on the street. We see the ripple effect Cole's abilities have upon his life, his mother's, and ultimately on Malcolm's, and their arcs feel earned and hard fought for. This allows us to sympathize with them more deeply, thus heightening the impact of the horror and overall effectiveness of the narrative.
Go off. No, those are...
There's a ghost inside of me.
Colin, knock it off.
The ghost daddy.
Oh my God. Well, no, those are that absolutely delicious. Yes, God.
I mean, I bet that if we just took a little time, we could have like 20 Daddy Doos.
Truly.
This, like, Daddy Do read the script, number
Daddy
4.
Do
Daddy
read
Do,
the script.
literally, you have to read the script.
Daddy Do read the script, number 1. I have 2. My Daddy Do is allow tenderness on the page, even if you think your genre doesn't need it.
Girl, yes.
Work.
No, like for real though.
No, for real though. Because this movie, this story would not inherently require tenderness, but it is the ingredient of tenderness that made it what it was, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot be convinced otherwise.
Yes.
Script and screen.
Yes.
Both.
Yes. Because again, it's a ghost story, but it's not just a ghost story. This is a story about people and struggle, like just the struggle of being a person. I really
do wonder if you like went out in the world and polled strangers, if you asked them why they love it, like I think it would be a lot more split than, maybe not even split, like more in the percentage of people who connect with the story versus, oh, it's a horror film. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas a lot of like straight up horrors, people love it because it's a straight up horror film.
Well, that's why I love this film before. Like, I haven't watched this movie a lot. This may be the 3rd or 4th time I've seen it, which for me is very little amount. But like, I loved it because of the impact that the scares had on me when I was younger, and I was like, God, that movie's just so scary and good. But now I'm like, wait, no, there's so many other levels,
so much more
that it's playing on.
My other one is consider how your words fill the page. I'm not someone who feels there has to be endless white space. Some stories benefit, but some stories do just benefit from less. There's something so clear and concise about the script, and it's so easy to follow. Every word was purposeful, so we got everything we needed without getting drowned by action or dialogue. And again, I say this as a person who also goes long. Like I do typically go long, but it was so, for this story, it felt essential for it to be clear, and it was. And I think it made such a difference. I'm going to add on to my one previous. Most stories have a plot hole or two. And I think, again, the litmus test is just going like, if it's small enough that someone could fill in the blank within about 30 seconds to a minute of going like, oh, it's probably this, you're good. If you're sitting and going like, yeah, no, you got to figure out a fill in.
And I could argue, I'm not arguing for plot holes, but if they're done in the way that Carly just mentioned, it's almost a way to subtly engage people even more. Not that you can like intentionally make that, but
yeah, I guess maybe the reframe is not saying plot holes, not answering all the questions. And again, all films do this to some degree. Very few films, literally, we go from start to end without. I mean, actually, there are films where you're just like nonstop with the characters, but most films we're kind of going all over the place. We're timeline jumping a little bit, whatever. Like, not most, whatever. A lot of films. Point being, like, maybe it's not the plot hole. It's just when you're choosing what to share and what not to share. There is an art form to it.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about that a lot right now because the script I'm revising right now, there is a lot of time jumps in it. And I'm really trying to figure out the way that it's most potent and least confusing. But that being said, like the question I'm constantly asking myself is, what is actually potent to leave out and what assumptions can be made here that are not right or wrong, but make a person engage more, like being very purposeful with what I'm not sharing.
Information gaps,
and being
baby.
Exactly. So maybe it's more of the information gap than a plot hole, but I do think that's something to come back to, is just going like, if this is so massive that someone really with a little bit of thought cannot come up with anything, it's too much.
That is a great litmus test for that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep that in mind for my own writing.
Yeah.
You know what? Because I just a couple nights ago saw Weapons.
That's right.
And it's incredibly effective. It's amazing because it's like a character driven movie. It's character first, and it has more gore and more traditional horror stuff in it than like this movie does. but it's so effective and so great. It's very different, very different tone and everything. But yeah,
I'm excited.
The character work in that is wild.
I'm excited to see it.
Do you have any daddy don'ts? Me either. How could I find a daddy don't with this? Are you
Well, again,
kidding
it was
me?
inauthentic. I said to myself, I was like, if I look for a daddy don't, it's inauthentic, and I'm not doing that.
No. That's it.
So, period.
Literally.
Seriously, read the script.
Read
the
it.
script. It's a beautiful script.
If it's been a while since you've seen the movie, watch the fucking movie again.
Yeah, it's really, really, really poignant, beautiful storytelling. Like really. And it holds up times 10.
Also, if you are watching this on YouTube and you're seeing the gorgeous Script Daddy hat that I'm wearing, it is now available. We have Script Daddy merch. You can get a beautiful Script Daddy hat. We have Script Daddy mugs too if you'd like a Script Daddy mug.
Isn't she gorgeous?
She is gorgeous. I love.
She's just a little cutie, but toot.
Yeah, the graphic designer who made our logo is named Josh Alvarado. He is incredible, and we will be having more merch from him.
So excited.
Oh, what a good episode.
We're back, baby.
We are back. Welcome to season 3. Get ready for some more spookies.
Oh, it feels good.
It does.
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Script Daddy. Script Daddy is executive produced and hosted by Carly Casey and Colin Moretz, with additional production assistance from the incredible Scott Simmock and our amazing sound mixer, Ryan Fee. Our artwork was done by Josh Alvarado.
If you love Script Daddy as much as we do, please tell your friends. Follow us on your preferred podcast platform and give us a rating and review. It really, really helps. We love you, Script Babies. For all inquiries, please email scriptdaddypodcast@gmail.com.